Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Nerds and Words. I'll be your host today, Tim Allen 1337. And today we have a special guest 2 weeks in a row, BioHack. How you doing, man? Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And then as always, joined with Moreland TV.
I just typed search into my fig bar, or I typed search. God damn it. I typed fig into my search bar just now, and I still can't find my figs.
It's case sensitive, bro.
Yeah, it's case sensitive. And Potion Shop TV.
Welcome, everybody. Good to have Bio on the podcast. Thank you for joining us, and let's have a good podcast.
Hell yeah.
So as always, we'll start off this week as awkwardly as possible. We'll start off this week's podcast by talking about each other's weeks.
I found the figs.
What we did inside or outside of BDO. BioHack, how was your week, buddy? How you doing?
Pretty good. Ever since the update with Odalita getting announced, like Cronstones have been really hard to get, our costumes for Cronstones. So I haven't been doing as much enhancing as I usually do. But yeah, I did do 3 out of 4 Tet Distos last night, which was pretty cool.
Jesus Christ. I want to thank you for forfeiting what could be tens of billions of silver by having a conversation with us for a couple hours.
Well, you know, I need to get my Rilipi questing done, so that's what I'm doing. I hit 22,000. I'm working on that while we chat.
Dude, you're gonna be ridiculous when you get 30K.
I know. That's why I'm pushing so hard for it.
Moreland, how was your week, bud?
Pretty good. I played that new, well, it's not a new game, but it just left early access called Hades. It's like a roguelike ARPG. I played that all day yesterday. That was super fun. Before that, my week was kind of less fun. My guild is pretty much done warring and going inactive. So that was shitty news. I don't think I've been able to join a guild for more than 2 months since 2018. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah, otherwise,
Aftershock was almost a year. Aftershock was almost a year.
Was it a year? No way.
Almost. It was like a
long time.
I joined after TwitchCon in like December or January, and then it died in like May or something, didn't it?
Like 8 months or something.
It was a long time.
No, it was less than 6 for sure.
It was more than
Fuck
2,
you.
though.
At least for me, you might have been in it longer, but
it
I
was more
only
than
in it for
2.
a few months.
Shit, I'm still in it. Aftershock till I die. Yeah, no. Well, we'll talk about T1s. We neglected T1s last week, so we got to make sure we talk maybe even first. Potion, how was your week, bud?
Week was pretty good. My sleep schedule was completely destroyed, so I think since like Wednesday or something like that, I basically haven't streamed. So people have been missing me a little bit. But that has given me plenty of time for Among Us, so I have had a blast in Among Us. Whenever Moreland is streaming it, basically I'm playing it right now. Also jumped into the new Path Exile League yesterday and trying that out. It's not bad. It's definitely something. I find it sort of like BDO when you're bored of everything else and you go play Path Exile. You know.
Moreland is dying right now.
Stop it, dude.
Spotify.
The way he says Among Us.
Yeah. Man, you're starting
Among
early.
Us what?
I'm just gonna keep on going.
You see that video,
so
right?
yeah, I'm actually looking forward to Monday though, because I had to do a lot of stuff behind the scenes with my album, and so the album will be coming out on the 21st, Monday.
Congratulations, man.
That's gonna be a lot of work, but it's finally about complete. And what's cool about that is like it's gonna be 20 songs that anybody can listen to as background music on their stream. That was kind of like the goal of it, so people wouldn't have to worry about getting DMCA'd. And maybe it's not your flavor of music, but that was the goal.
Is the album art going to involve Cat Jam?
It should, but it's not. That's pretty 5-head there. But that's
what kind of music is it?
It's dark wave. It's sort of like ambient chill. Is I guess the best way to describe it.
It's a pretty good description. I'll listen to that.
So I had a very interesting week. I don't know if anybody's heard my name in the past week, but I went back to work kind of I'll skip over the drama and stuff, but I went back to work and I had a really good time. So I streamed only about 20 hours this week and really enjoyed my time streaming. I wanted to host Merlin last night, but I actually ended up hosting a lead singer of my favorite band started streaming on Twitch. And that's like one of the coolest things about Twitch. Like I ended up, I call him a friend or acquaintance, Connor Daly, IndyCar racer. And now I've like started this relationship with like the lead singer of Silent Planet. And so he's big on Twitch now and doing really good. And so that was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in his stream last night and stuff. So I'm really kind of lost with what to do on BDO, but man, getting out in a car and getting back to work really felt good. So inside BDO, I'm a little lost, with Null not doing T1 Node Wars. I didn't know they stopped until like 2 days ago. I just wasn't going to go because T1 Node Wars are such a disaster. But I don't know. I grinded like 100,000 trash in Sycria and got like 15 Tungrads. I didn't even realize. So I did a little bit of grinding, but I can't. I've failed my Tet Blackstar 45 times. I can't get it back Tet after I was trying to show up Morlin. Like the karma's hit me bad on that one.
You deserve that, all right? You're like,
lucky.
I'm going to tap it. Like, don't do it, Tim. Don't do it. Don't roll tap it, Tim. That's a lot of
See
money.
if, Bio will make you one.
What stack are you up to now?
I've made 199 stack, and my main stack, or I made 199. I've made 155. I made another one I don't even remember I used for something else. And the one I'm using now is like 180.
Damn, dude.
So I saved the 200 stack. That's going to be for Try Dead God. But
Might be a little overkill, but
Yeah, maybe a little overkill. Slam a pen accessory on that.
you
Yeah.
do like 150 on the Dead God. Pen accessory, I mean, if you want one for use, yeah, I wouldn't like make one to sell or anything on 200 stacks. It's kind of low, but
Yeah, you're the only one who makes them to sell, Bio. Come on. What are you talking about?
yeah, well, okay.
I haven't used my 200 stack, right? So I haven't gotten the Pen Kaposha, so I could just slam a Crescent. I'm thinking about doing that on the 200 then. I gotta get this thing back to 10. I'm missing so much fucking accuracy.
Wait, Crescent?
Stop. I don't need this. I really don't need it. I just don't fucking
Red
need
Nose
it.
ring.
The red nose. I was just gonna say it. Nice blue ring.
But like the problem is like I'm having a tough time trying to figure out why to progress because Siege is I think I'm actually gonna Siege tonight. I dropped guild and I joined or I am joining IDC Alliance, which is Fresh's guild, Adamant or whatever he calls that. So I think I might try to Siege tonight if I can get a main hand to reasonable enhancement, but we'll see how that goes. I haven't sieged in 4 months.
I might try to siege again too, dude.
Well, I mean, that's the whole reason, like, I lost motivation a while back, was because there was, like, the motivation behind it originally for me was to get gear so I can PvP. And I'm not good at PvP, so I have to get the gear. Like, it's the only option for me to have my advantage. And then as soon as, like, they started, open world kind of died, and now, like, I took a break after that, and then they have hurt Siege and stuff, so then I was like, lost kind of motivation there, and I was kind of just waiting for. I was hoping they're going to fix tier 1s and fix tier 2s and slowly work their way back up towards making this road of progress. And now they've just systematically destroyed every single version that I would potentially enjoy, at least. Because I'm not a fan of only ones in the current state of BDO.
I was gonna say that 1v1 arena is so good.
I just play along, grab somebody, and one combo somebody, and that would be the story of how I'd play. So
did you work on getting surviving history a little bit this week?
Yeah, I can actually go to Sakraya now. I'm currently 336 DP, and I can go to Sakraya and grind there. I can pull like 4,000 plus trash.
Well, that's pretty good. You're having a tough time at Star's End. Is that on your Hashishine?
Mm-hmm.
4,000 plus on Hashishine. Did you do Awakening or Succession?
Succession.
Yeah. Do we want to? Let me pull up the notes. Let me.
Yeah, we can go ahead and jump into that. Actually, it's a good bridge off point. Did BioHack give us opportunity to talk? I forgot.
Yeah, he did. Can we talk about T1 Node Wars real quick before we jump into all this, or do you want to do it after?
Yeah, we can do it now. That's fine.
Okay, so since we didn't talk about it last week, T1 Node Wars, they changed the HP. We talked about this before they did it and when they did it, where you start off capped at 5,000 HP, which is fine. and then after an hour you start losing 500 HP like every 30 minutes or something, 15 minutes. It's something really low. And so
So
by
every 20 minutes, you lose 500 HP. So after an
Right.
hour, you've lost 1,500 health.
well, you end up at the node war at 2,500. I thought you go as low as 2,500 max health.
At the end of the node war, yes, like the last 20 minutes. Although most of us were just leaving before it got to that point because it was so dumb. Like if you were playing anything other than a ninja, it's just not fun.
So out of all the mechanics that they've done, basically this is an accelerated version of the siege mechanic that they got rid of, where if you own a territory, you lose HP. So they got rid of that because it was such a dog shit idea. And then they kind of made an accelerated version in a T1 node war where the lack of a conclusion was never really a concern for anybody. And so I did one, and I couldn't adapt. I couldn't figure out how to play Guardian with 3,000 HP maximum. It was like DKs and Sorks, and iframes were super strong. And it's like they're already tough to compete with, if you get caught out. And that's fine. That's kind of a social contract between the classes. But I'd have to re-roll classes and play something I don't want to play just to be competitive in T1. So, and it turns out that our T1 guild stopped participating because we were all so fucking disenchanted with it. So,
well, I mean, one of the major problems with that is like when you make kill time shorter, then iframes become more powerful, and iframes originally in the game weren't a big deal because you had to 2 combo or 3 combo somebody when the game first came out, and now since it's a 1 combo meta, everybody complains about iframes, rightfully so, because they're twice or 3 times as powerful as they used to be. And so now we're seeing the same thing happen again, but in tier 1s now, which is very unfortunate in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, one of the greatest things about tier 1s was how tuned the time to kill was. Like, it wasn't perfect, but it was a lot better in Siege, where a lot of times it's not even 1 combo, it's just one, like you'll die in one single CC because there's so much just chip damage and people bursting you for half your health with a single skill. And like now T1 kind of just feels the same way after the first like 40 or 60 minutes. You get knocked down and there's just no chance that you're going to stand back up because it's really easy for you to die. You just don't have any survivability. Your defensive stats are capped, and that's it. The beginning of T1s with the 5k HP, like that all feels fine. Everything felt fine. But I don't know what they're trying to accomplish with this extra mechanic where like now everybody dies faster. Well, like, I guess maybe they thought too many T1s were stalemating or something, but I mean, like, who cares?
Yeah, it forces a conclusion is the idea that I would have, but there's so many better ways of doing that. Like, why don't you just make it where the tier 1 like towers start losing HP after a while? So they start off at 100 HP and then they start losing HP over time or something, or possibly increasing the respawn rates, which is how it used to be. There's so many other ways they can tackle that issue that doesn't affect the player's PvP enjoyment.
It wasn't an issue. We talk about it all the time. They're out of touch with their game. It just wasn't an issue. It wasn't something. It's an answer to a question nobody asked.
Yeah.
So, which is so weird because there's so many things with Siege that, people scream about very often, but they keep tweaking these node wars. They must be actually planning to scrap Siege as it is, or they would have done anything to it. I guess they touched it a little bit. I don't know, man.
They planned on deleting Medea Castle and doing the territory war, then they scrapped it, and now apparently they're planning on doing it again. So
right,
we'll see.
I think they're pretty fucking lost. But so I just wanted to touch on T1 Node Wars and get some Fs in chat for it, and we're all eagerly watching the patch notes, waiting for it to come back. So. Potion, if you'd like to take us through the rest of I don't know if you have anything you want to say about T1 Node Wars. Do you ever do a T1 Node War, Bio?
No. Well, I did. What did I do? I did some sort of node war because someone in chat was like, "Hey, you want to do this real quick?" And it was a stomp. We got like surrounded immediately, and that's the only experience I have in any kind of group combat. I just don't really like group PvP. I'm like more of a 1v1 kind of person.
Potion, you want to take us through the notes, my friend?
Sure. So the big topic of the week is Hashin Awakening and Succession's out. That's the big content. I know Marlon was playing it, and Tim, you had your new account. What do you guys think about it? From what I hear Hashin Awakening is basically unplayed at this point. The cooldown's just too long.
What?
I'm surprised. The Hashishin Awakening seems like it's going to be extremely strong in both PvE and in 1v1. I'm surprised so many people are saying that it's bad. I don't know. I don't have as much. I didn't play around with the Awakening as much. I spent most of my time using the Succession. But the Succession is definitely solid. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be, but it's very solid, and it seems to be really good in PvE.
Yeah,
I did a lot of testing on Global Lab of the Awakening version. I definitely like the Awakening version way more. That grab is really nice.
Yeah, I think for 1v1s, I think that the Awakening is where you go for sure. I think this has the mobility. It has a better flow. I like the design of it. The problem for PvE comes in that your primary damaging abilities end up having a 13-second cooldown. And so you just run through all of your abilities, and then you're forced to use Alice, Breath, and Descent, which, if you're going to use those, why don't you just use your Succession then? Because your Succession is going to be stronger with those same exact abilities.
Wouldn't you just grab someone and burst them and not have to worry about cooldowns?
Well, he's talking about PvE.
Yeah, for PvP, I think for 1v1s, you do Awakening. And I think for Node Wars, I think like we suspected that the AoEs are huge part of that, especially since I think some of them are super armor. So for Node Wars, definitely is going to be Succession. I don't think there's any major problem in PvP. I don't think there really is one. I think mainly the problem comes in that you run out of abilities in PvE. Even on Succession, at low end spots, I didn't have a problem because you spend like 2 seconds running to the next location. And when you run to the next location, then all your abilities are off cooldown again. But if you're in one spot, like I was in Sakraya, and I'm rotating all my abilities, and I run out of all my abilities before they come up again. And so I'm sitting there and I have nothing to do. I literally have nothing to do.
There's no abilities you can like spam off cooldown or something?
I mean, it's your back and left click, and that heals you, but it doesn't do enough damage to be worth it. And
how much good MAP do you have on your hash?
I'm 287. Good.
Yeah.
Are you canceling out of Serpent Coil? Because I feel like that ability alone, you can just like sit in there for like 7 seconds.
Are you talking about the Awakening? Is that what that is?
Yeah, the one where he spins the thing above his head.
Yeah, you
like
get
that animation is so long.
Yeah, you can do that for sure. I think it lasts, like you said, a while, but it doesn't have good enough damage. And then on top of that, since there's a 13-second cooldown, by the time you come back around, the cooldown I don't think starts until after the entire ability is completed.
I'm using it right now. It's like already like a third of the way done by the time the animation finishes.
Yeah, I'm using Succession anyway. I'm not using the Awakening.
But what do you think about it, Bio?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't grind, so I can't comment on its PvE at all.
What a setup. I don't grind.
I mean, yeah.
I
don't know. I was interested in maybe trying it at Ash Forest, but I haven't taken it out there yet.
Is it a good class for running between the storage keeper and the repair vendor?
No, his walk animations are cancer. He's terrible. It's like the worst part about the class. He's got this like really awkward momentum when he walks around. So he's terrible for like going around town.
I'm excited to ask you a few questions about your method and how you play this game after we go through our kind of structure here. Should be fun.
Sure.
As far as me for Hashishin, so I'm surprised that, I think that it's just kind of indicative of this community to go, it's trash. After what it's been out for 3 days. Awakening's trash. I played it on Global Labs. It's terrible. I went to a Node War. It's awful. It's like, hey, maybe you're not a fucking god gamer, and it's going to take a couple weeks to figure out how to.
Whoa, I'm definitely a god gamer,
right? Weren't you just talking about struggling, grinding on?
No. I don't enjoy it because I run out of abilities. But yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right. I think that is definitely part of it. And I think right now, a lot of people are looking for Awakening or Succession. They want to know what's the answer, which one's better. And I feel like that right now is kind of a moot point for the most part. I think Succession's slightly better, but really it comes down to personal preference.
It's an iframe class that came into the game with, Guardian was an interesting ad, but we're talking about, a group PvP meta that's largely Succession Wizard. So I don't really know what people are expecting from Hashashin as a whole. And then everybody kind of does this where they just go, this class sucks. This class sucks. When it comes to, it sucks. No, just give it a week or two. So I don't know. I tried really hard to try to enjoy this, but I'm tired of pretending.
I don't feel like people said that about Guardian, though. When Guardian came out, people were like, yo, I'm out here at 215 AP grinding those trees right now, man. We're getting that 63 knocked out.
Yeah, Guardian was highly overtuned when it was released. I mean,
Guardian also isn't
kind of different.
Yeah, isn't Guardian like really easy to play, whereas Hashashin has like a ton of animation cancels and like flow abilities and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it takes a lot longer to learn like how to play Hashashin than it does to learn how to play Awakened Guardian. You can grind really well on Awakened Guardian like very quickly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that's why I play Guardian, is because it's easy, not because it's the best. You know, it's fun to talk to chat and just have a chill grind, but I wanted to get into the Succession and Awakening, and then I realized I'd have to grind out a bunch of skill points, and I'm just gonna let you guys play it and let me know what it's like. So.
It feels kind of like honestly, just the Succession to me just feels like Dark Knight, except a little bit more exposed. But it's got some unique abilities. I mean, it feels like the same class designer as Dark Knight made another class and like changed 3 or 4 things. That's kind of how the Succession feels to me. It's really not bad though. Like the way you can turn into a tornado and move around, like it's a little gimmicky, but it's a unique mechanic. I like it. He's got a good mix of like melee attacks and range attacks. He's got some good AoE for PvP, or for PvE rather, and some good DPS. And then the way that all of his, we talked about this last week, but the way his skills chain together and the different variety of ways you can combo is actually, it's got a lot of depth to it. It's not necessarily obvious, the different combos that are possible. Right now, if you look at like the guides for Succession Hashashin, there's like 15 different combos that they recommend that you learn. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do with the class. So overall, I think they actually did a good job. I don't think that it's completely busted. It might be a little busted in PvE. We'll have to see. But I don't think it's dog shit either. I think it's fairly unique. It's not the class I would have picked to come out next. It's a little too similar to other classes, but it's unique enough and it's interesting enough. I think they did okay.
Yeah, I re-listened to our podcast last week, and I was like, fuck, I was way too negative on this entire thing. And it sounds like that it was well thought out, and there's a lot of combos, and there's a lot of, I think the word of last week's podcast was nuance. So I'm excited to see how it fleshes out into the meta, but holy fuck, do I want them to stop making new classes. Unless it's a necromancer.
It's unless it's necromancer. Yeah, I feel like it's sort of a overused way of them creating content. I mean, it's definitely something that people will enjoy, but the more often they come out with a new class, the shorter period that I enjoy the new class is sort of how I feel like. But I agree with Marlo on the PvP side of things. Like the combos are, like, I mean, between like your shift right click, shift left click, and how you can combine that with Owl's Breath, and then your E teleport, and then your, you have your F, which makes a tornado, and you can teleport back to that when juke out an enemy. There's just so many different ways you can like enjoy the class and be like really, really just 5-head into play, and people are like, what just happened, and where did he go, and all that stuff. And I think that really makes it a lot more fun. There's a lot of, there's going to be Hashin's type of class where in PvP you're going to see clips of Hashin doing like incredibly weird stuff all the time for like the next year or two. Like you're just going to see like, holy smokes, like how did he put up his tornado, then he jumped off his Pegasus, and then he teleported back to the tornado, and then he killed the dude at the flag, and like there's going to be all sorts of like little interesting plays like that, I think.
Can you drop the tornado while you're on a Pegasus?
No, but you have to drop it before you drop it before, and then you jump on the Pegasus, jump off a mountain, and then you teleport back up the mountain. Because I don't think there's a y-axis it calculates. I think it only calculates. It doesn't calculate Z. It only calculates X and Y.
Yeah, this game doesn't have a Z-axis.
Yeah, so you can just jump off a mountain with Pegasus and then teleport all the way back to the top.
But you have to jump off the Pegasus midair.
I'm not just making an example. All right.
I'm just curious. I kind of want to try it now. I haven't been able to use my Pegasus because they won't let me use Pegasus on season.
I think it's Pegasi.
Why do they do stuff like that? If you make a Pegasus on the seasons, you should be able to use it. It's not like it really
I
matters.
mean, I feel like they either need to make it so you can't use any like fancy horses, or like I don't know. It's weird that they let you use T8s, fast T8s, but not a Pegasus.
Hold on. Let's pull this back a little bit.
Sure.
You're allowed to use fail stacks, cron stones, silver, everything possible to boost your season character, but they draw the line with T9 horses.
Yeah, I'll agree. That's weird.
Maybe Doom would be overpowered or something. I don't know.
Doom, you can level up to 45 pretty quick.
I will give everybody a free Doom, a free temporary Doom on season horses in exchange for not using crons.
Does Doom have some kind of like flat scaling? What if he's super overpowered at like 200 AP and he would just kill everyone on the Arsha channel?
I don't think they know that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. There's already some insane flat scaling overpowered classes at the beginning of the season.
I hear that you can get 7,000 trash per hour at Ackman with Guardian at 215 AP. Kudum.
He speaks the true. The true.
All right. Can we talk about some shy stuff, please?
Sure. You can now
Definitely.
summon your shy and play music for you. Which I think is interesting. That combines with the 5 instruments they added last week, I believe. So you can pick what instrument you want for your shy, and then you can summon her whenever you want to play you a song.
I still don't know how to get music on my shy, but I think I might figure it out now that I can summon her while not playing her. The only thing I don't like about this is that you can't do it during Node Wars. So
Really?
You know what you can do it during? You can summon a shy in the middle of the 1v1 arena.
That's
And then it actually like has collisions, so you'll like use abilities and run into it, and it'll stop you from moving.
Oh, no.
that's amazing.
At least there was a shy in there last night when I was in there, or 2 nights ago, and I kept like crashing into it when I was trying to hop around on my archer. I assume it was from that summoning because I don't know how else it would have got there.
You're 1v1ing on Archer?
Oh yeah.
That's got to be a fun class to be a 1v1 guy on.
I mean, everything like you know about classes doesn't apply at my gear level. Like everything changes. Like everything you know about what's balanced and what's overpowered. Like Sorks are garbage, Lawns are garbage. Like I don't know. Like things just don't apply when you have like 900 evasion and 269 AP.
900 evasion.
Have you tried putting that gear on a Sork yet, Bio?
Yeah, it's trash. Sork does really, really bad damage at 269 AP. I did some testing on Global Lab.
Sork has
right, 'cause
very,
you're
very, very
running
bad
hybrid.
accuracy scaling, and then counter that with a full evasion.
Yeah, it's just
build.
not. Yeah, it's just not just accuracy. It's just like the class. Like I did a bunch of testing. Like I made a 269. Sorry, I'm sidetracking. So stop me if you don't want.
No, you're fine, dude. We do this to ourselves.
I made like a full pen C10 Mystic with like pen Narcs and a pen Kudum, and then I was like, what classes can one combo this with 269 AP and a full evasion build? And like Meiwa Succession, Meiwa could do it. Kuno Ninja could do it. Archer could do it. Hashashin kind of struggled, but Sork was just like garbage. It was like a joke. It did like 20% of its HP, whereas these other classes were one comboing it. And then I thought, okay, maybe it's magic damage. So I did the same thing with the Guardian. Same deal. Sork just doesn't do good damage with that low of AP.
Interesting.
That
I mean,
is
it could also be that I'm bad. Like I don't know necessarily like the perfect combos on all these classes, but it was
if you did a full
clearly
combo,
worse.
I would imagine it should be something around like 60, like 40 to 60.
I definitely remember hybrid Sorks with like 240 AP one comboing people that they shouldn't have been able to one combo back in the day.
Maybe.
Well, people used to run red.
But I mean, people are a lot more
Sork.
geared now too. Like this is a C10 full pen everything Mystic. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you're talking about lower gear level, maybe I don't know. That was just my experience.
I think 269 AP is fucking perfect for an archer. I think that when you're looking at classes that like really excel at that AP level, probably Awakened Warrior does pretty well there too. But Archer's probably got to be the best.
He's really good. I think Kuno and Ninja are probably the best because they can do a fuck ton of damage with that level of AP and also are really tanky.
Have you tried Awakened Striker?
I tried Succession Striker. I didn't try Awaken.
Oh, you
Dude,
should
I
try
bet that would
Awaken.
be balling at 269 with all that evasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things like everyone, like a lot of assumptions people make kind of don't actually end up being true at those gear levels. Like, because like Striker doesn't have a pure evasion offhand, for example. And like, I don't know. The question is just, can he do that? Can he do enough damage? Like Mystic and Striker. Same deal with Sork. Like Sork in theory should be an amazing evasion class, but she doesn't have the damage. So I don't know. I need to test Striker.
Striker can do it. You should. You definitely should. That's a really good call.
There's a few classes like that. Like there's classes that are designed like a sorceress where they are they do well in an evasion build, but they're low accuracy. So you need accuracy and AP on them. And when you get to high gear score, they just don't pan out. Like one of the classes that has a hard time is Lawn actually, higher gear scores.
100%.
Yep. And then Musa can the Succession. I don't know how they play in. Musa is the same is off the same meta, has low accuracy and then scales very well with evasion. Yeah.
Do you use human damage at all in your crystals, Bio?
No, I don't.
So at 269 AP, Awakened Witch is actually really good, especially with the pet buffs that they just did. But you would have to put human damage crystals, like some RBF crystals in, and drop your Toxic Flood all the time. But I don't know, if you fuck around with that or something, I'd love to see a 900 evasion Witch with 269 AP. Oh God, that would be fun.
Maybe.
That's what that would be. I don't know if it'd be great, but it would be fucking fun.
Yeah,
Anyway.
potentially.
Rabbit hole. What's next? So Shy show up in the 1v1 arena. That's cool. Working as intended, esports ready.
I should have tied this in with the Node War talk we did earlier, but Shining Medals of Honor got updated, and it's actually pretty good to get a Kudum box or a Awakening box.
Is it
now.
though?
If you're a person who normally does Node Wars, this is actually probably the best way to actually acquire a Awakening box now, compared to going out and doing Karanda.
No, here's I'm going to tell you right now what the best way to acquire an Awakening box is. Are you ready?
To buy
Press the escape key. Click on the market button.
All right, but the reason you want one of these is because for new classes coming out, if this is their strategy to come out with a new class every so often, and you want an Awakening weapon box for the new class, this is the way to do it. It's to get those Medal of Honors and go and do it. You don't go to the World Boss. The World Boss is not worth doing. You do Medal of Honors, and then you get that way.
I mean, you do have to supply the market.
I guess if you used a few medals to get an Awakened box for a new class because you didn't want to use coupons and you did that once every 6 months, that wouldn't be the end of the world. But definitely don't go spending your medals on Awakened boxes. I think the loot scroll is probably 10 times better than any other reward you can get from those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty good. Anyway, something to note. I think the Medal of Honor update is, although not a big deal, it's a good quality of life for people who are interested in that kind of stuff. Now, this is something I want to figure out. They said, I had a discussion with my chat, and my chat was like, you can graduate from this season. And I was like, no, you can't. And then they pulled it up, the little autumn season. At the very bottom, it says, you can graduate from the season early, but we're not telling you how. Yeah, we're not telling you what the requirements are. So you can actually graduate from the season, but they haven't revealed what them are. So if you happen to complete the correct requirements, you can actually graduate from the season. So I've had tons of people. It's at the very bottom of the autumn season when they first announce it. At the very bottom, they say we're changing the rewards or we're changing how early graduation works. But yeah, basically, I didn't believe it either, and then they pulled it up. Here, let me go find it. It's like several weeks old now at this point.
So the dialogue that you get when you talk to Fugar about graduating early, does he just lie to you?
See, you have that, but most people don't have that text. You've completed the requirements, Merlin. You were actually the example people gave me.
I had that text the instant I talked to Fugar when the season started.
Same. Is this like some weird SWG crossover vision that you had or something? I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Here it is. Let me copy and paste this to you guys real quick.
Is 89 stack a Tet or Try Black Star stack?
It's too high for trying, too low for tet.
Fuck.
Bio, I think you're muted.
Sorry, no, I was talking to my chat. What I missed something. What did Tim ask?
Potion's pulling something up about season, and in between, I was trying to figure
All
out.
right, I
if
put it
89
in
stack
podcast topic ideas,
Is
Would you click try Blackstar on 89 stats?
and I put it in guest chat.
No, that's too high.
Would you would you tap tet?
No, it's too low.
Fuck.
Told you.
All right, so basically what it says here, for those who want to level up their characters in the season server and continue their adventure in the regular servers, terms have been changed so that you can now graduate early. Don't forget the gift box full memories containing many beneficial items and conversion of items will be given as well. However, early graduation is optional. You can continue your adventure in season server if you wish. Please note requirements and exact details will be revealed at a later date. And so originally, I didn't realize you could even early graduate because I had
way too much into this, dude.
You're
reading way too much into this. It's just a poor translation that's saying that early graduation will be an option at some point, but we haven't announced it yet. I don't think it's in the game.
Too much mystery of summer. I don't think it's
Right,
a clue. A riddle you got solved.
I don't. So Cacao Games is in charge of translating the notes, and surprise, surprise, they don't do a great job all the time. And so I think it's just I'm with Marlon on this. It's a translation issue, dude.
Well, I've had some people come in my chat and tell me that you can graduate.
Yeah, but why do you ever believe what people in your chat say, homie? Like,
There's enough people who have told me that it says
because
here
Fugar says in game that you can graduate early, but that doesn't mean it's right. Like people aren't investigating it, dude. It's just people on Twitch.
My
saying
seasonal
what they think.
character doesn't have the early graduate option. He doesn't have it. The one that you have on your screen.
No one has
I don't.
the option.
Show me someone who's actually graduated, and then we'll like believe this. But I mean, if these people are claiming that someone can graduate, like, how do they know? Like, if they know, then like actually, show us a character that's graduated.
It's understandable. I thought that you could graduate early too, because when I went and talked to Fugar, he said, "Here are the instructions for graduating early." Like that little dialogue button is there. But
I don't have that dialogue
work.
button. I don't have that. On my seasonal character, I don't have that. And other people in my chat also don't have that button.
When you talk to Fugar, you don't have a chat. I mean, I don't know.
I don't have that.
I do have it, and I still can't graduate. So I don't know what to tell you.
They removed it last patch. What?
So a bug. Anyway, I want to bring it up because
they took it out. They might have taken it out this week. I haven't checked like in the last 2 days.
Okay, so maybe that was just a bug because I had because your screen had different than mine, and I didn't have the context of why you had it. And so that was why I was wanting to bring it up because I had so many people asking me about early graduation. My chat's saying it's this Tuesday, which I've been told for like 3 weeks now. So let's hope it's this Tuesday.
I mean, what's the source? What's the source of that information?
I don't know. That's why I asked last time. And
chat is not a source, dude.
Wait, is your chat saying it right now?
There's like 2 or 3 people that said it was this Tuesday. But anyway, I hope it is. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you, Morlin, in particular about that because you were the evidence that was given last time that you could graduate early. And so I wanted to clarify what was going on with it.
Yeah, I thought you could graduate early because when you talk to Fugar, there's an option that says, would you like to know how to graduate early? So I just made the assumption.
I have to interrupt you. I sent people to your chat to tell you that it was Tuesday to see if you'd believe it.
Oh, all right. Well, you're Tim. I'm trying to actually get some real information here for people. I mean, this is a topic that the community is passionate about, right? They really want to know what's going on. You guys all go to Tim's chat and tell him that he's stupid.
It's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank. Why would it be Tuesday?
Tuesday would be a weird day.
So anyway, that's you cannot graduate early right now. It's the majority of people cannot graduate early right now. There are a few people who claim you can, and they
are lying.
And with the bug that you had on your side, it was like evidence anyway that I thought that maybe you could actually graduate early. So, and when you read it here, they say
I thought so too. But
yeah,
it never works if you go and actually talk to the graduation NPC after talking to Fugar. It never worked.
So at least we have a little bit of light on that. So apparently we have still no evidence you can actually graduate early, even though it's just here it says it. So it's just this is a bad translation, and we'll have to wait for a future update for when we can actually figure out how to graduate early.
We've been hammering them in the partner Discord too about early graduation, and they don't know. So I don't know what the plan is.
Well, let's see what happens on Tuesday, though. So many people are calling me stupid right now. I hope you feel good about this. My feelings are hurt. Okay.
I highly doubt that.
So
this is one that will bring us into a topic with Bio here. So maximum prices on pin accessories have been increased. Bio, thoughts?
Hell yeah. Thoughts? I mean, if the disto market stays like this, like it's gonna, like, my whole enhancing strategy is gonna be nothing but making pin accessories. Like, everything else is just gonna be an effort of making pin accessories. It's absurd.
Now, is that because of, that's just purely because cron costs are way undervalued, right?
Yeah. I mean, 100, like, a pen disto is 144 bill. I mean, when I bought my pen distos for 88, I was like, I know I'm overpaying for this, but I'm gonna do it anyway, so I don't have to make a stack. I can make a pen disto for like 70. It's fucking crazy that they're this high. Like, if they stay this high, that's gonna be it. Like, everything else is irrelevant. And it's beautiful because you need so much fucking capital to do this and actually pull it off. Because if you have one bad luck and you're not, deep into 7 digits, like, or how many digits? I don't know, 12 digits. It's it's too risky. So this is a perfect market for me. I'm super stoked.
Do you calculate or have a good idea of the cost of your fail stacks?
Oh yeah. I've spent hundreds of hours optimizing and figuring out exactly what my fail stacks are worth.
Do you have a spreadsheet or track it or something?
I have a bunch of like Python scripts that I use, and I don't have like a spreadsheet, and none of it's public.
I don't even know what a Python script is.
You have to subscribe to BioHack TV Platinum to get that answer, Tim.
I mean, the meme in my chat is that it's $3,000 to get access to my spreadsheets. I had one guy that was like legitimately like asking me about it. He's like, I just want to sell this video card, dude. And I was like, I mean, I said that as a joke, but if you want to give me $3,000, I'll teach you how to enhance.
All right, everybody. You heard it here first. BioHack now offering coaching for just $3,000.
I don't know, man. If I was you, you're the king of enhancing. I would just come up with an outrageous number, set a fucking donation goal for it, and then just release it all. I mean, how you're going to be a multi-trillionaire, right?
Yeah, it's true. I don't really need to make money anymore, but
fucking even cash out, dude. Like IRL cash out. It's not against TOS. You're not RMTing, right? You could just like take the BioHack strategy and just fuck the game.
I mean, I already kind of do that though. Like the whole Penn Blackstar for Moreland thing. I mean, I made like $1,300 on Twitch donations to make that because I charged like I had like a $50 dono goal, and every time we hit one, I'd click the Blackstar, and I did like 14 Penn Tungrat belts before that. That's the only reason I made that thing. Like I didn't make any money on it, but that wasn't the point.
What a friend.
Here's the other thing. Even if Bio released all of his methods, I don't think anyone can actually compete with him at this point. Like even if they copied what he did line by line, that most people just don't have the capital or the patience, and almost nobody has both the capital and the patience.
Yep.
I know a guy.
I actually, my take on these pin accessories is that I think it's a band-aid for a big problem that they have in the game. The big problem is that silver inflation is always a thing because the amount of silver we're generating is higher than the amount of silver being removed from the economy. And as long as this remains to be a thing, the pin accessory prices or whatever the most popular item of the day is for the most veteran pay-to-win players are. Right now, that's pin accessories. Maybe in the future, it's something different. It'll just continue to inflate that one area. So we can see that right now with Caphras, and we can see right now with pin accessories. But this will just continue to increase as time goes on because they're not actually addressing the core problem here, which is silver generation at grind spots is too high, and they need to figure out how they can either reduce the trash loot at grind spots, increase the items, increase tax, maybe decrease the value of the value pack. There's lots of different solutions.
No, what?
They literally can't do any of those things.
They're increasing the cap on pin accessories, I think, is the answer to the question that you're asking.
I don't think that inflation is even a problem. Like we want the game to have inflation. That's the core catch-up mechanic of the game.
Yeah.
And also, like the whole idea that the silver value, like the base accessories didn't go up, the TED accessories didn't go up. So the cost to make them didn't. I mean, not appreciably. The cost to make them didn't go up. It's just that the actual like max value went up. So I don't think this is really like there's no reason to think that the price is necessarily going to go crazy high. And honestly, they're massively overpriced now. So that's going to come down once people get rich enough to start making them.
Well, we're going to see a cascading effect on the marketplace, and we already saw this originally when the central marketplace came out. Is originally the first times that skyrocketed were TED accessories, and then what happened is Tri accessories, and then after that we saw like a cascading effect, basically the ones underneath that happened.
TED accessories sell for like half of what they did when before the central market came out.
Well, that's what we're seeing right now, though. We're seeing everything skyrocket, and then it's going to depreciate. But what happened with everything underneath TED accessories from that point is they went up. Like Tri accessories doubled in price. Duo accessories are double in price from what they used to be. And what we're going to see here, in my opinion, what I expect to see TED, crescent rings probably go up in price by like double. They're going to start seeing around like $8 billion because of this. Because everybody it's worth it to buy them and tap them at that point. And what happens then the supply. The demand for TED goes higher, so then the supply is the same.
Let him finish.
When Potion, who's going to buy a TED Crescent and tap it?
BioHack,
who's going to have the
or
stack
somebody
to
like
do that?
BioHack?
Yep.
I mean, even if you do that though, then the price of pen accessories comes back down, and then the price of the TEDs, like fewer people are going to tap them. They're going to need higher stacks to do it. Like it's just going to reach an equilibrium, right? Like if everyone buys TED accessories to tap pen, then the pen accessory market is going to crash.
Anyway,
so I mean,
that's my
TED
2 cents
tongue
on
grad
it.
necklace was almost 30 bill when the central market dropped. It skyrocketed to almost 30 bill, and then things like Dark Rifts happens, and now a TED tongue grad necklace goes for 13 billion. I mean, it's just supply and demand. It's like just because an item has an artificial cap on the price for a while and people get used to paying half of what the item's actually worth doesn't mean that that's good for the economy. Like we want items to be sold at their value. We don't want ceilings or floors. That's how you create, artificial scarcity and other problems in the economy that aren't actually good for the game.
Yep.
Well, I don't have enough information to say this in whole because it's too much to prove it on every single item, in the game. But this is what I think is going to happen. I think you're going to see TED Crescent Ring in particular is going to be the big one. It's going to go up to about 8 billion is my prediction. Not very fast, but over the course of the next several months, it's going to go up to 8 billion. Right now, it's like 4.5. And I think we're going to see TED Bassi Belt be about 8 billion as well. Right now, it's about 6, I believe, 6.5. And we're going to see about a 20% increase on most of the TED accessories. And then we're going to see probably like a 10% increase on the Tri accessories. Just by nature that everything, because right now, if the pin accessories are now able to be bought, be able to be sold at a reasonable price, then the demand will naturally increase at TED and Tri. And because the demand is increasing at TED and Tri, that's going to, the supply doesn't change. The supply is not changing, so the price will naturally increase because the supply is not changing, but the demand is increasing.
No.
You would need at least probably like 220 stacks to break even on slamming pin Cressies with the current price. There's absolutely no way that anyone could make a profit buying them and slamming them at 8 bill under any circumstances.
You think we're going to see an increase in TED accessories by 20% and Tri by 10?
By 20? I mean, 20% isn't a huge increase. That it fluctuates by more than 20% like periodically.
Right, that's negligible, right?
Yeah, I mean, he said 8 bill, which is like almost doubling.
Well, for Crescent right now, it's undervalued.
Here's the deal: if Crescent suddenly are worth 8 bill, I'm just gonna shit out like 100 of them a day until they're not 8 bill anymore.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, that's the thing is like supply and demand. Like if they suddenly go crazy high, like the TED accessory market is dog shit for enhancing right now outside of like TED distortions. I hate doing them because they're not very good. If they became good, I'd just make a shit ton of them until they weren't good anymore.
And think of how many players would never be able to get TED accessories if the prices were artificially capped, because way less people would be making and selling them. There's a lot of players who don't enhance who can only get gear because the central market allowed for that extra freedom. Back in the day before the central market, you would have to pre-order an item for like 2-3 times its market value and then just wait for months. That was how you geared up. It was ridiculous.
I agree that's ridiculous. I think there's two ways of solving this, though. I think one is addressing the problem of silver inflation. I think that addressing that is a way to fix this. And what happens if you don't have inflation? What happens is everybody eventually catches up to whatever the cap is, and then everybody just plateaus there at the cap, whatever that is, whether that be a soft cap or a hard cap. And if you have inflation, then you have something like where you look at like what Choice did. He bought a pin ogre for like 20-30 billion, something like that, and now that item is 3 times the value because of inflation. So a new player comes to the game, goes to the exact same grind spot, Histria, and then has to spend 3 times the amount of time to buy the exact same item.
Bro, okay, so we established last week, and I'm leading you down a path, so bear with me, that the new player experience is rough, right? It's not fun. Weird time to get into this game, right?
Sure.
And so inflation and grinding and the per hour is literally the only chance people have to get into this game and be competitive in a reasonable amount of time. And then they're dealing with the plateau. They're dealing with making 250 mil an hour by, when you sell your pin accessory that's always in demand, because they're making that higher. So it's harder to get. So it's helping the people who are starting out, and then the people who want to buy that. I don't give a fuck what Choice bought his neck at in 2018. That doesn't matter. That's inconsequential, right? It's 2020. We need to fucking figure out what's good for the game now. And so I think moving the pin accessory cap higher makes a lot of sense. So people who get lucky or tilt or whatever the case is can sell it. The people who are grinding 200 mil an hour after playing the game for a couple of months are catching up. And the people who have been playing for years are now focusing on that 100 to 150 bill grind so they can buy their pin accessory. There's no problem here. We don't need a solution. It's actually fairly equitable.
Well, your argument makes sense if it wasn't pin accessories, because pin accessories, my value just increased by 25% overnight, basically. So
the value was always that high, Potion. People were just able to buy the items for less than what they were actually worth.
Back in the day, pin accessories weren't sold out. You could buy them at max price. They were sitting in the marketplace for a year after Central Marketplace came out. Pin accessories were available at the maximum price because the silver inflation hadn't caught up to where the maximum price was. Now silver inflation has.
Pin accessories were. Certain ones were, yeah.
Like bad ones.
Like Pin Crescent was. It was sitting up there. I bought mine that was sitting on the marketplace.
I had a viewer actually begging me to buy a Pin Crescent from him for 30 bill because he wanted to sell it back in the day. But again, this isn't a problem necessarily. People have progressed now. The price, the price of pen accessories should be what it is. You're essentially, without this, it kind of locks people who don't want to enhance out of getting pen accessories. The reality is there's just a lot more players that are at a position where that's a reasonable upgrade for them to go to now.
What I'm basically saying is that what they're doing right now, they've adjusted the silver price 2 years ago with Central Marketplace, and they just adjusted it again. They've adjusted Pin Crescent Ring 3 times now over the course of 2 years.
That's because they capped it too low to begin with.
Yeah, right. I do agree with that. My point is that we're going to see this happen again, I believe, in the future, with not necessarily this item, but with some other item in the future.
Chance. I think. They'll raise the cap of other items. Yeah, they need to raise the cap of Pen Blackstone. That's another item.
I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad I got that in time.
We should definitely see it, but that's not a problem. That's a good thing. The Pen Blackstar max price is too low.
I'm just saying it's an example of silver inflation, and you can just say
that. But if you're getting upset about silver inflation, you're gonna get upset every day for the rest. You don't play this game ever expect. Silver inflation is not a problem. It's how they balance the game. It's how they're going to continue to balance the game forever. This isn't an issue. This is just how the game is designed. World of Warcraft negates all your gear in the new expansion. BDO negates it slowly by a silver for inflation. It's just how it works.
Yeah, over years.
If they don't inflate things, Potion, then new players will never have a chance to catch up.
It's so ironic. Where do you make the best silver at, though? It's at the high-end grind spot. So you go to the high end grind spot, which benefits the most paid win players in the game, and then you increase the silver prices on the items that the most paid win players buy.
Now you're jumping all over the place. Now we're talking about pay to win, like.
What I'm saying is like all these changes that they do, you keep saying new player experience, but none of these changes affect and help the new player. None of them.
I mean, a new player today can make 100 million silver an hour in like 2 weeks if they just learn how to life skill. Like you can make way more money
compared
nowadays.
To what 250, 300 million an hour of a veteran player.
If we were all still making 30 mil an hour doing gatekeepers like we were in early 2017, then we would all have massive stockpiles of 30 mil an hour wealth, and the only way to ever catch up with a player who had been playing since 2017 would be to be someone who had been playing since 2017. Like the amount of income and progression that you have in the game has to speed up over time, or else new players can't compete because they literally would have to time travel to do so.
But why are you making more money now? That's my entire point here. You're making more money now because silver inflation allows you to people have more raw silver income, so you can now sell those items for more. It's just the silver inflation is what's causing you to be able to make more money with it. If there's no silver inflation, then you would be making the same money.
But we don't want people to be making the same money.
Yeah, dude. If you make the same money, then you can't catch up. You understand?
You have to be able, like, the 2 weeks of progression has to be worth more now than it was worth 2 years ago.
I wish I was better at speaking the English language, so I could actually explain this to you guys in sentences that would make sense. I'm not a good enough debater or arguer or good enough with wordsmithing in order to convince you guys of what I'm trying to convey. What you guys are going to have to, you're just going to have to look at the marketplace, and when year comes by, you're gonna see it all over again. All right, this will happen again in the future, and
it will.
And the problem is that this is benefiting the most veteran players the most. Like Choice has made about, I think, about 200 billion silver of just having his items in his inventory. He didn't have to grind for them at all. He made 200 billion by just sitting still. He could have not played the game.
Choice worked harder for his gear than almost anyone who plays this game. Like, he didn't cheese into getting full pin. He grinded 18 hours a day for 10,000 days. Like, he's fucking. He didn't just luck into his pin accessories. Maybe one or two of them, but like.
But he gets to keep that early investor advantage. And it's making him more money on top of being able to grind.
I mean, that's true. Like, my net worth has gone up like 100 billion since Wednesday.
Right, and we've established
in silver, everyone's net worth is always going to keep going up because that's what inflation means. In silver, in numerical silver value, it's going up. That's
How
different
is that
from
different?
The actual true value.
Because
30 mil today is not the same as 30 mil in 2017.
All right, BioHack.
Yeah, it's the same people who got upset about like the costume price increase. You need to think of it in terms of like dollars per hour or effort per hour, and not in terms of the silver value.
I think I figured out how to convince you guys this is a bad thing for the game. All right, BioHack. Do you try keeping any of your silver in liquid form?
Hell no, because liquid silver inflates, or liquid silver loses value over time.
Right.
Potion. Let me.
But everyone here knows that. We just don't think that's a problem. We think that's
so. What do veteran players? What do veteran players do? They invest all their money into gear. Right.
Listen,
and so then all that there's no catch up there because all that gear is inflating in value. If players kept their money in raw silver,
inflating in value, it's inflating in numerical silver.
Gear isn't inflating in value though. Gear isn't, like, I mean, other than pen accessories, which were underpriced, like pen accessories haven't really gone up.
You understand that it's worth more. It's worth more tomorrow than it is today.
Yeah, so let me explain a core tenet.
Silver, it's not worth more intrinsically. That's what inflation means, that you need more currency for the same amount of intrinsic value.
We're not on the gold standard here, homie. There's an old tenet that may resonate with you here a little bit. So there's a saying that goes, if turning $100 into $110 is difficult, turning $1 million into $11 million is inevitable because of inflation, because of value. You invest things into it. You don't leave money or silver to sit just to sit. That's dumb. It's a marketplace. It's an economy. When you have items that people want when time goes on, and you can make more silver because it is a catch-up mechanic in the game. It is smart to have items because they will increase in value. But it's only silver. It's not actual value, because that pen ogre was only worth so much silver, 30 billion a couple years ago, because we keep saying that, because that probably took the same amount of time to grind back then for that 30 bill as it does now at 80 bill or 90 bill or whatever it is. You see what I mean? It's the same amount of time roughly, but with more silver in the marketplace, newer players are able to catch up quicker. So that 30 bill to 80 bill, it's still worth the same. It still will take the same amount of time to get that.
How much money do you make at History now compared to back when Choice grinded it? Choice is making 100 mil an hour, and now make 150.
Yeah, but that's the point. How many, like, the number of hours you need to put in to get a Ted Ogre ring is like way less than it was 2 years ago.
We're talking about effort and intrinsic value, bro. We're not talking about the numerical.
All right, so I had a point here. So, all right, Choice to make 30 billion. Now the amount of time it would take Choice in today would be 3 times longer. The amount of money you can make it in History only increased by 50% because of inflation. So now it would.
Why are you doing air quotes?
It would. Well, because it's now the grind spot didn't increase in value by 3 times the amount. It only increased by 50%. So who does that benefit? That benefits Choice the most, because Choice basically had to spend 3 times less time. New players save 50% of the time. So if it took, let's say, it took Choice 100 hours, for example, or maybe what's the better example? It took Choice 100 hours. Nowadays, it would take Choice 300 hours if he was grinded at the same rate. For a new player, it would take about what would it be? 200 hours. Is that right? I think that's right. 200 hours. So it still would take double the time that it took Choice to make the same amount of money.
Right. None of this is right.
There is some like early investor advantage. Like, yes, there is a massive advantage if you can get ahead of the curve and start buying things like pen accessories before other people catch up there. Just simply due to supply and demand. There's a lot more demand for pen accessories now than there was when I bought my Tet Distortions, or pen distortions like 6 months ago. But that's not like an inflation problem necessarily. Like the inflation, that's like a separate issue.
I agree, but that's what I'm trying to convey here.
And capping the prices is part of the solution to that, because if you don't leave it capped, people who didn't get theirs early just can't get them.
Exactly.
They can't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is the increase in price of the max value is the solution to that problem.
But that only benefits the early investor. That doesn't benefit new players.
No, it doesn't. It benefits anyone who wants a pen accessory in 2020 who can actually get the money to get it, because otherwise they wouldn't have an option to get it, because there would be a shit ton of buy orders and they'd be forced to make a fail stack. And
I agree. My solution to this problem is not increase the raw silver value. My solution is increase the supply of ogres, maybe, or increase the supply of fail stacks, or increase, doing those things. They've
done that over and over.
Or making pin accessories easier to click on, or something.
What?
There's other ways to address this.
Yeah, if they want to make fail stacks sellable, I agree with that. But you're solving a different problem. You're talking about the gateway to getting a pin accessory and how most players can't do that because of the fail stacking system. But that's a completely separate problem from inflation.
At the end of the day,
part of the issue is that the value of pin accessories is egregiously overpriced, as Bio was saying, because of the fail stacking system. If fail stacks weren't in the game, pin accessories would be worth half what they are now, because people could gamble them on a fair click. But people can't get to the point in the game where they can gamble pin accessories, because the process of getting a 200 or a 250 or a 280 stack is excruciating and impossible for most players to even understand, let alone actually execute. So yeah, you're talking about a different problem though, man. I mean, you're talking about enhancing and the inaccessibility of pins in the first place.
I'm not looking at one little small part. I'm looking at the big picture. The big picture is gear acquisition for new players. Does increasing prices on pin accessories, is that a solution that benefits new players?
Absolutely.
It does, but I'm saying there's other solutions. I'm saying there's other solutions that would not benefit veteran players, but would still benefit new players for gear acquisition. And that's what I want. I want some type of a solution that doesn't benefit veteran players in any substantial way who already have acquired the item ahead of time, but does benefit newer players in gear acquisition. Does it make sense? Anyway, we talked about this a lot.
I don't think it's a problem, man. I just don't think it's a problem.
I mean, I don't really care too much because I made like 50 billion by this not playing the game this week. So I'm totally fine with how this worked out. But I'm just saying that, you know, for new players, this is not a good experience.
All right, so what's next on the list?
Well, you're talking about tier 1, so Global Labs. Apparently they're making Nightmare of every boss now. They did Zarka before, now they're doing Nightmare Nuver. And the only difference between Nightmare and not Nightmare is Nightmare has a chance of dropping all the way up to Tet version of the boss weapon. So
Don't they look cooler? I think they look cooler.
the bosses, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen. I saw 2 pictures. I didn't notice any difference on Newer. Does like Zarka actually look like significantly different?
I thought they had like spooky like features or something. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't bossed in so long that I forgot.
Is it Nuver covered in blood or something?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I didn't notice anything when I looked at the images.
Nuver's wings are glowing red.
They tweeted out the pictures and they looked significantly spookier, unless I just haven't seen a world boss in 3 years and don't remember what they look like.
That's possible what's happened to me. Maybe I looked at it and it's like, oh, it's the same. But it's actually different. Yeah, what do you guys think about this? I don't think this is the correct solution to the problem. Like, I don't need more RNG on my RNG. I
do, dude. I think being able to drop a Tet boss weapon from a boss is, I love that kind of shit. That's like when they made enhanced accessories droppable, even though it never happens. And so getting a Tet weapon from Zarka will also probably never happen. But I mean, dude, getting an actual Zarka box back in the day, you would shit your pants when you got a Zarka box. Now, if you get one, it's like, oh, cool, I could have grinded that in 20 minutes. I mean, I think it's cool that having something like exciting that you can get from bosses again.
I disagree with you, Potion. I think this is the answer. I think if you're in the area of a world boss, or this would actually be worth, we were talking last week about, you know, Kerr was like, hey man, have you heard of Oasis gear, Tim? You know, I would have Oasis gear ults to hit Zarka a couple of times to have a chance at a Pride duo, try Tet and Zarka. I mean, that's a couple billion for 3 minutes of my time. That's one rotation of Star's End or something.
If Nightmare bosses were every single time, I think that'd be awesome. But Nightmare bosses are RNG. So the boss spawns and it's RNG if it's Nightmare boss or not.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's exciting too, isn't it? Because then you get stoked when it's a Nightmare.
No, you randomly change your character and you're like, oh man, wasted 3 minutes. Oh, and my game crashed when I changed my character. Damn.
Man, you're just in a bad mood today, aren't you?
Yeah, come on. That's my God.
I think
I feel like Nightmare bosses are going to be kind of cool, and then people are going to get excited. They're going to be like telling all their friends, like, "Oh, it's a Nightmare boss."
Somebody's going to put a world chat Nightmare Zarka up, you know.
Yeah, just don't switch characters until someone says Nightmare.
I think maybe if I would agree with you guys if what you guys said, if there was like a chance of a pin dropping. All right.
Oh my God.
I agree. I think it should go all the way up to pin. I think it should. I think there should be a chance to get a pin Kaffir's 20 Zarka that drops, and it should be 1 in 100,000, but it should be in the game.
Yep, I agree with that. Yeah, it's just super rare. So when you get one, you're always checking your inventory. Like, what was it? What level enhancement was it? Like,
what level is it? What level is it?
Oh, it's a pin. They're getting Kaffir's levels.
Every time I get an accessory drop, I always open my inventory to see if it's enhanced, and it never is. Ever. But I still check and get excited.
I know. That's why I think it should be.
Yep.
You don't actually think pen should drop, Marlon, do you?
Yeah,
I don't think Pen C20 do, but I think a regular pen. I mean, it's 2020. A regular pen is not that exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Can you take a look at who you are for a second?
I mean, I know it's me, but I'm just saying, like, listen, you're not like, if someone gets that drop, they're not suddenly going to be like some overpowered god. They're going to be like, oh, I'm like, you know,
it's not that big of a deal.
Close to end game.
It's not that big of a deal. I've had 4 sets of pin boss armor now. 4 sets of pin boss armor. It's not a big deal getting boss gear.
You've been making such a big deal about it for a couple of months.
They're almost pin accessories. Like in terms of value, they're halfway there. Or not pin accessories, pin weapons. So I mean, yeah, if a pin weapon dropped, I don't think it'd be the end of the world.
There's a big difference between it being a common drop and being a potential drop. You know, being a potential drop where one person maybe a month gets there or something like that, that's not that big of a deal, But the potential and hearing the rumors of like, yo, I heard someone got it in Aftershock. Like, what? Really? Those lucky motherfuckers. Oh my gosh.
Aftershock's dead, dude.
I'm just saying an example. All right.
Why do you have to bring up such painful things?
You brought it up first earlier in the podcast, all right? It's your fault.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. You said, Marlon, you were in Aftershock for more than 2 months.
It's true. You did say that.
But
you brought it up first. All right. Anyway, I hope that I think the Nightmare boss is an interesting direction. I think in its current form, it doesn't interest me. So that's a better way of saying how I feel about it. I hope that they increase the rewards a little bit so you get a chance of a pin.
What would they have to do to make bosses exciting for you again, Potion?
Decouple their health, so it's not a world boss with shared health on every channel. Make it where all bosses are nightmare bosses and not just a chance of a nightmare boss. And then a very, very low chance of getting a pin boss weapon from it.
No, man. You know what they need to do to make Potion excited about world bosses? Caphras.
If I get a try Zarka, I want to have some Caphras in it. All right.
I think the thing about world bosses, this is just kind of addressing, is it used to be like an RNG thing. Like, you have a chance at a jackpot drop, but there's not really any jackpot drops from any bosses outside of like Vel, Garmoth, or...
That's what I was saying last week, is when we were talking about the Potion was all excited that field bosses have Caphras in them. And I'm like, that's not... that'll wane like anything else does. Even if it's like a little pog kind of spike of money, people went to field bosses because that was how you got Dimtree. That's how you got Dimtree armor. And so I don't really know if they can make field bosses relevant in 2020 like that. Well, world bosses, their stab at it is up to Tet, and I think that's actually uncharacteristically a good idea. I'm happy they don't have Pen, but
I mean, I went.
Okay, if they have Pen, I want them to put as created by a powerful adventurer Zarka. Like they put Zarka's name on the pen Zarka. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be legit, bro.
It would.
I mean, like the thing is you can get around the balance of having them drop something like pen by just making the rates like absurdly low.
Yeah.
What if Zarka dropped pin weapons from players who were banned? Every time someone gets banned,
it has like a little date. It has a little date when they're banned.
Loot table, and then it gets spread out throughout the rest of the player base.
It would actually be abused so fucking hard.
Yeah, people didn't intentionally get
that
banned.
Would normalize cheating. That would literally normalize cheating.
Well, it's not like you could choose who it goes to.
Yeah, but they just flood accounts with like
this bot
bullshit.
And then get a pin.
So it would literally be a way to launder dirty money into the game.
Not if they get it right.
Pick a world boss. Pick a world boss nobody would do, maybe.
I want to commit a crime with Marlon one day. I really do. Pick a crime. Let's do it. Can I say that on Twitch?
You're just joking. It's just fun.
I mean, we're gonna do mushrooms together. That's pretty illegal.
I'm not. You're not gonna get me to do that. At least take my phone away from me. I'll say some shit on Discord.
You won't know how to access Discord.
I just want to do shower crimes like my friend Potion Shop.
I can't let people know about that. Black Spirit Adventure got updated on Global Lab. I think it's way overdue for that to happen. Apparently, you can pick different dice now, so you get you get to pick what number of dice you want to roll, like what number you want to roll, something like that. Let me scroll down and find it.
Black Spirit Adventure would be like 1,000 times better if it didn't take like 30 seconds to load in. I mean, that's the reason you don't do it, right? Is because you're like, holy shit, I don't want to wait for this to load. At least for me. Am I the only one who has that problem?
You should have played Xbox BDO, dude.
You're not wrong.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they need to just copy the adventure from mobile and just put it on PC.
I mean, they've got so many things that they need to update and make relevant. If they really want to keep them in the game, I think they should axe so much of this shit. This game is so fucking bloated.
Yeah.
Instead of like, this is listening to 7 fucking squeaky wheels going, this is my favorite thing. Why isn't it relevant? And I can't be fucked to open up the thing anymore. It's like, just get rid of this they'll bitch for a week and then they'll fucking forget it was ever in the game. You know, I hate how easily grabbed these people are by these obnoxious bitching nobodies that just complaining about things that don't fucking matter and distracting from the core tenets and focus of the game. I feel like that just gets them all the fucking time.
Yeah, delete Black Spirit Adventure and buff fishing. Let's go, boys.
Honestly though, just get rid of it. I'm happy it's updated. Everybody likes to click their little fucking dice, and all the little like PMA idiots go into world chat. PSA, roll your dice. And somebody notice me and say thank you. You know, we really need to keep that going.
Wow, they're just trying to help, dude.
Fuck them. That's such bullshit. They're not trying to help. They want somebody to give them a fucking pat on the back because they haven't seen a human being in 3 weeks.
I have a bot that automatically reminds people to roll their dice in chat.
Yeah, you're also an attention whore. You're a streamer. Gross. Let's move on. I'm digging myself a hole.
I'll give you a shovel if you want one.
Yeah, I think you got a couple to spare.
Yeah, I have several laying around.
Mm-hmm.
Awakening
Is that
ability
related to the shower crimes?
We're not talking about that. So after Mario got buffed, so now that at certain grind spots he drops better loot. So I don't think he's really relevant. I don't really like him as a game function anyway. He's like kind of like the bloated stuff we're talking about, in my opinion. It'd be cool if like one grind spot had after Mario show up occasionally. I think that'd be kind of like it. But anyway, he got buffed. They're considering about doing new Rabam abilities.
Yeah, let's dig in on this.
Yeah. So the reason we learned about this is because they made a absolute crap ton of changes to Awakening. I guess they got tired of just buffing all the classes with quality of life one by one by one by one by one. And so they decided to just buff all Awakenings by giving them a new enhancement.
Bond skill and enhancements that add a CC or a protection.
Yeah. So you're now going to be able to
only pick one. You can only pick one per class.
So and so the way this works is you get you get 6 options here, and then you get to pick one for and it updates one ability. So it's going to be one ability will now have a super armor on it. One ability might have a additional CC on it or something like that. It's an interesting take on it overall. What do you guys think? It's a pretty big introduction to the game. Not as big as Succession, but pretty.
I hate it.
So my problem with it's exciting in some levels because I generally end up playing Awakenings on classes. I haven't played Succession for whatever reason. So, and maybe I'm kind of a boomer player that just finds nostalgia in like Awakened Witch or something. And so I was with the thing that we talked about last week where you can like trade your weapons back and forth through the tagging system. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go back to Awakened Witch. But then I looked at the Bond enhancements for the skills on Awakened Witch. And if you compare that to the Bond enhancement skills on Awakened Guardian, there's nothing to compare. That is an easy choice. It's like Frontal Guard on Fissure Wave or something is like the best one there because like anything else would fuck up your CC combo. And like whatever, like Fissure Wave, Frontal Guard, it's nice, but it's not like holy fuck. You know, and then Wizard has Frontal Guard on their Water Orb. Again, really nice, not holy fuck. They've got Wizard actually came out above. So Wizard Bond has better Bond choices than Witch, but Guardian has like Bound on their Shift Q and Knockdown on their long range big charge up swing Dragon's Maw. And then they have Float on Cleansing Flame, which is their 50% BSR move, right? Like you had to use 50% BSR. There's a lot of really fucking great options to make that class way easier by just being like that Guardians gets their skill floor gets raised like a fuck ton, where Witch is like, yeah, and Wizard's like, you know, so the classes are so different that it affects everything pretty wildly, and it's not balanced in any way, shape, or form. So I think it was a little haphazard, and whoever did this didn't have a good, clear understanding of that.
So I actually think that they need to like quadruple down on this and use as a way to rebalance the game. I think what they should do is with all CCs, super armors, and iframes, make them all optional choices below, and you can only choose a certain number of them for your class. And so you're forced into choosing a certain number of CCs, and you get to pick what abilities you want to update. So instead of them just being defaultly having your CCs and everything on them, they'll just be damaging abilities. And then you get.
I think that
you get to pick up.
I think that they should quadruple down on that quadruple down, dude. I think what they should do is just give you a blank class, and you should be able to design all your skills, your damage multipliers, your animations, your super armors, and everything from scratch.
I mean, I think it's a potential way for them to solve the problem, though. And I do think that would be really good if they actually did that. It'd be really fun.
Somebody in chat brought up a good point. It also introduces, you could call it RNG. I think there may be some metas that crop out of this where a lot of classes pick the same ones. But if all of a sudden, like, a witch casts Thunderstorm and you just get fucking stunned or something, or you can't CC them because they picked at a Fissure Wave and you think you've got a catch. I don't love that. I think having class knowledge makes you a better PvPer, and playing different classes and all that kind of stuff. Having to guess what their enhancement is on their awakening kind of sucks. I think that was an excellent choice.
That's what my problem with it was. Yeah. There's already like 40 classes in this game, and now 20 of those classes are going to have a 1 in 6 roulette that you're playing to see how their abilities work. So I think either this leads to you randomly getting caught in situations where otherwise your knowledge of the game should have kept you from getting caught just because you guessed wrong on that 1 in 6, or it leads to people turtling until they figure out what enhancement their opponent has, which is just kind of boring and dumb. So I don't really think that this is. I think the fact that metas are likely to emerge will mitigate that somewhat. Like 90% of players will probably just pick the same enhancement because it'll clearly be the best one to pick. So you'll just get used to classes having that ability. But I don't know, it feels like another buff to grab classes to me. Like, if you don't know which abilities have super armor, then just grabbing is your option, is the best option in every situation. And I don't know, man.
I mean, that's sort of where I'm at already, right? For me in PvP, I just want to play a grab class because of that. Is that what you just said right there?
So this is typical of Pearl Abyss development. Is the idea? I kind of agree with what they're trying to do, but the execution missed. If this is how they roll out, I think the execution is going to miss. So,
what do you think would be a better solution to this? Because obviously, this makes PvP almost way more complicated across the board.
What they did is they made Succession almost unilaterally too strong, and they keep admitting that in their development. And so they're trying to figure out a way to make Awakening viable again for most classes. But instead of, I mean, they're giving Wizard Succession buffs, in the same breath. The blue text is Succession strong, and then they give buffs to the strongest Succession. And now they're trying to go back into Awakening, and this is even more awkward when you consider resistances. There's a lot of people that don't like resistances in this game because it introduces a
RNG win or lose
RNG into combat, and so now you've got a guessing game on top of RNG when it comes to CCing. And so I don't know if adding options to each class, pick and make your own class, is any sort of solution. I think if they want to add a CC or a additional protection to an Awakening, they should add that and not have us choose. If they want to put Bound on God Incinerator, do it. If you want to put Forward Guard on Fissure Wave or Water Sphere, do it. But don't introduce more RNG into a PvP that's already kind of teetering on the edge if it's even really a good idea to have resistances. I'm a fan of resistances, but I know a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, for sure. I definitely think that it makes PvP way more complicated. Anybody who takes PvP seriously right now, I think this is definitely a huge drawback. Anybody who doesn't take PvP seriously and just wants, this gives you more creativity in the game, and the creativity unfortunately punishes PvP, but makes, I think, the abilities more interesting but again, like, which do you want to be? Like, right now, they do some changes, makes it feel like they want to push the game towards PvP, and I think in our changes, it pushes you towards PvE, and this one feels like they just don't know, they don't have their heads made up about what they want to do with the game. do you want to make it more interesting, for just your average casual player, or do you want to make it actually a competitive game that people can get invested into?
So we'll see how it plays out, but you know,
sure.
it's exciting because your class gets a buff and you get to do something weird. But when you really sit down and think about it holistically, it's a terrible ad.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's a ton in here. If you guys are interested on this, this is Black Desert Foundry. They have a translation of the patch, and there is an absolute crap ton of stuff to go in here and to see what they all did. So if you guys are interested in that, I encourage you guys to go check that out. Anyone who's
there are some
listening
buffs
podcast.
to classes again too, but a lot of it is just the different bond things that you can add within the classes. But the community as a whole said for years that they need to focus on class balance, and they're taking massive stabs at it. So
yeah, and I won't hound them for that. That's for sure. I enjoy that they're finally trying.
Yeah, and I applaud that for them. But the irony is that they're killing organized PvP while they balance the classes, or at least attempt to. So.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else we had to talk about BDO? We went down some rabbit holes, but
that is it for the BDO. Our first off-topic.
Hold on.
All right.
Before we do off topics, I'd like to talk to BioHack. We've got one of the most unique players in the game. I'd like to. I don't watch a ton of your stream because I get mad at how much money you make. And I don't know anybody else that really there's a couple people that do what you do at a smaller scale, but I don't know, just for the uninitiated, can you just kind of maybe do like an arc of, how you started playing the game? You're like the number one trader and stuff, how you made your money, and was like making money via enhancing always your vision, or did you just kind of realize or find opportunities? Just kind of talk about you and how you play the game a little bit, because I would love like a 10-minute this is how I play this game and this is why I'm here.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, the thing I like about MMOs is like sort of big, long, overarching goals that take like a long time to accomplish, right?
Obviously.
And I also like making money. Like every game I've ever played, I've almost always been the richest or one of the richer players on the server. So I started BDO right after release, basically, and I was really busy at the time, so I didn't get to do a ton of the early content. But I'd done some research and realized that like trading was going to be a thing, and I started doing some math on like how much these crates are going to be worth and all this kind of stuff, and really buying materials to make crates, which was kind of the thing that other people weren't really doing at the time. And realized that it was basically going to be way better than everything else for making money. So I started with that.
What were your margins like on that? Were you focused on leveling trading to increase those margins?
Yeah, so I was focused on leveling trading a little bit. I mean, it's better to level trading on your crates that also make money because, I mean, like you don't have to put anything into that, right? Like you're going to level it automatically. But you definitely need to get up to like a Master 2 at the time and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember like when I was timing it, I was making like 75 mil an hour in like 2016 when people were making like 3 to 8 at Pirates.
Yeah. You got in on it real early, right? Like you leveled your trading when you could still do it
super early, like
town and all that stuff.
Like you had a rank 1 leaderboard with like skilled 2 trading when I started.
Was that before Imperial trading? Because I knew.
Oh yeah, this was way before Master. This was way before Valencia even came out. That I was into trading.
Wow.
I had stockpiled like a couple $100 million or a couple. I think I stockpiled like $1.5 billion worth of crates like 3 months before Trade Buff was released.
Was the I don't know how to conjugate the word tedious in the proper way, but was how tedious this process? Did that bother you at all?
I mean, it wasn't that tedious at the time. We didn't really know what we were doing. We would just dump like all the crate. Like I was just like 80%ing all my crates, just like turning them all in at once. I didn't really we hadn't worked out exactly what the best way to do it was. So it wasn't as tedious back then, just because it should have been if I had like thought about it more, but just hadn't figured that out yet. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's mostly just workers doing shit. So it was pretty good.
That was so different back then because you could there was no trade distance, right? You could just trade them in at the same town you made them.
No, I never did that. I always thought that was dumb.
For leveling up, you could, right? But not for money.
Yeah, but I'd already gotten my levels from like wagon trading back in like 2016 up to artisan. Or yeah. Oh no, I did. No, I still took him in. I think you still got a distance bonus. It wasn't like
when you did it. If you did it real early, it was just like Altanova to Altanova and you were done. But that was like very, very early on, and then they ninja'd that, and you had to suddenly bring them all the way out as far as you could to level them up.
I don't remember. I know I turned all of my junk crates in at on Kondo because Arihaza hadn't even been released yet. So I turned them in all over there, and I only needed like 14,000 or something, because then they ended up nerfing it and making you need like 3 times as much, and then they reverted that back since then. But there was a point where you needed like 50,000 crates to hit Master 2 or something.
I remember
I'd already
that.
got mine for that.
I tumbled for Master 2. Fuck that. So how did you? So did you just one day like, oh, I've got a fuckload of silver? How did you translate that into enhancing for profit?
Well, there was wasn't there?
So I kind of spent more time on that than I maybe should have. But anyway, so that was good up until like 2017, and then people kind of figured it out, and it kind of went to shit. And I continued to do it for a long time just to get to Guru 2 as like a meme, like as a goal. But then what I was actually doing for money was a lot of cooking and alchemy and marketplace PvP. So
Marketplace PvP. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so I can't believe you never heard that term. Marketplace PvP is like the most vicious forms of PvP in this game, man. It was intense. So what you do is you pick up a bunch of maids, right? And that was when the material prices were capped like ultra low. So for example, something like a fruit of nature would be worth 100K or 200K or more, or sometimes I think they were worth like 500K if you crafted them into a recipe, but they sold for like 2K on the market. So if you sniped a full pack of 500 of those, like you just made 100 mil off of just that one click. So essentially what you do is you just camp the market all the time, and you used to be able to like pop the market.
That's not all you did. You also paid for third-party market watching tools that would give you a better UI so that you could snipe more effectively.
I'm so sad that
I didn't even pay for them. They gave them to me for free. Streamer privilege, and they gave me more slots than everyone else. It was really nice.
I remember Zathian used to stream that whole thing. He used to do a lot of that on stream.
Yeah, so that was Market Maid's website came in. Market Maid's was only good for like a few, maybe like 4 or 5 months before Central Market came out. So like I was still doing it like way before Market Maids came out. But Market Maids was basically a website that just tracked the market and what was listed there. And essentially it was just like if the UI devs for this game weren't like completely shit at their job, what the market would look like. So it just kind of gave you a new UI to like track everything. And that was really nice.
They give you sound notifications. That was the best part.
Yeah, I'd play like sound notifications, and you could like customize your notifications so you'd hear like a special ding if like Fruit of Nature hit the market, and you'd be like, "Oh shit, I gotta go get that." So made a lot of money like that, and then when sea monster hunting went crazy, Origin of Wind became like absurdly profitable. So you would go sea monster, or you go underwater gather and make glue and make Origin of Wind, and I was making like 400 mil an hour. I mean, it's hard to measure exactly how much underwater gathering was because you do it for like 2 minutes and then you swap channels, or maybe 5 minutes and then you swap characters and do something else for 10 minutes and then you swap back. But like in terms of like the active time you were putting into it, it was like
how many characters? So if people don't know, underwater stuff has a very, very long respawn timer. It's like 6 hours or something like that. And so what you do is you put a character out there, and then you basically swap to it when you change channels, go gather it, then wait for your channel cooldown and swap again.
You know, I remember that that was kind of like the 2019. It was probably 2018 version of Gatekeepers. Is like guilds would have that locked down. Specific people or discords would have that locked down.
And there's like certain locations in underwater gathering which are really, really good. Like tons of the oysters in the same locations. You can still probably make really good money doing that.
That was one of those things that if you took, Snake would like knock on your door and kill your dog.
So to answer the question, I had I think I have 3 characters with underwater gathering outfits max inventory slots that I used.
All right.
I think I mostly only used 2. The third one wasn't really that worth, but I had it.
I basically figured out that I'm always like 6 months behind whatever BioHack is doing normally or more. And so I tried doing that from Agoria Mills, and it was about 200 mil an hour, but I was just like, I was going to quit the game if I did that. It was just, I just couldn't take it.
That was going to be my question. So your arc goes from fucking trade crates to underwater gathering to like sea monster hunting to enhance, like all the most tedious, soul crushing parts of the game happen to be the most profitable and the most incredible for building wealth. Like, do you think that's a coincidence? What do you think's going on there?
I don't know. There's other things that if they were the best way to make money in the game, you'd find them tedious. Like, well, I mean, for example, there was a period of time where like opening up those accessory, like mysterious belt boxes and selling the like centaur belts for 35 mil was like extremely good money per hour. And that was like crazy.
Get drunk and do that.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's some aspect of tedium to it, but most of it is just like people don't know. People would do this shit.
That's how you conjugate that. Tedium. I like that. I didn't know that. I've never heard that before. Thank you. I learned something today.
No worries.
So how did you get into enhancing for profit then?
Yeah, so enhancing for profit. Well, I mean, basically it wasn't a thing until the central market came out. And you asked if it was something I wanted to do, and the answer is no, I don't. I did it because it's good, and I continue to do it because it's good. I don't really, and because people like watching it on Twitch.
Well, I mean, that's an arc for you, right? It doesn't matter if it's fun or anything, as long as it makes money and it's good.
Yeah, it's all about just being good for money. So it was like disgustingly broken when the central market came out, because that's when we had Shadow Arena and hards were sitting on the market at 600K a pop, and you could buy heave from the vendor, and the TED accessory market hadn't been solved yet. So TED accessories would make you like 3 billion silver every time you made one. So I literally just printed money making heave armor and TED accessories, just buying hards off the market, tapping the heave up from the vendor, selling it. Every time I got a 110 stack, buy a try, tap a TED, and it was just super broken. So I mean, I did all the math on that, and sort of, I mean, the math was not even hard back then. Like, I mean, it wasn't that the math wasn't hard. It was just that it was so easy to make money that even any Pega with no math ability could have made a shit ton. So that's kind of how I got into that.
What tedious things do you do IRL for fun?
Don't answer that. That's a trick question.
I don't know. I don't know if I do that much tedious stuff IRL.
You just do it all in BDO.
Yeah.
Scratch that itch for you.
Yeah. I don't need more shit.
Yeah. Your net worth
so the markets have changed like a lot over time.
Your net worth is getting close to 2 billion now. Have you actually hit 2 billion or 2 trillion to me?
Trillion.
Yeah,
2 trillion.
sorry.
I need to add it up. I was yeah.
Oh my god, 2 billion? How'd you do it?
I think I'm there. I have to add it up, but because all the pen accessory prices just went up, like, I mean, my net worth probably went up 100 billion since Wednesday. Just my like pen distos. Because okay, so I guess for those who don't know, I'm like hard cap basically. I have 2 pen distos, 2 pen Tongrad rings, full C20, everything. So like the Tongrad's wings went up like 10 bill a pop, and the distos went up like 40 bill a pop. So I was at like 19 or 1.915, I think, last time I added it up. But I'm pretty sure I'm over 2 trillion now.
What distos were capped at 82 before, right?
Yeah.
So they're like up 60 each.
Were you upset?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Were you happy or upset when the the Cronstone extraction skip animation came out? Because I know you have to buy costumes off the marketplace, but at the same time, you're one of the most geared people in the game, and your only competition was people that swipe extremely hard.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't use Cronstones for like the longest time. Like people always ask that.
Really?
Like, oh, you need Cronstones to this. I didn't use Cronstones for like 6 months.
Oh wow.
Because Croning shit is kind of bad. Like people way over Cron stuff in this game, in my opinion. It's really risky because you can just fail over and over and over again. You don't get the stacks, and it's actually more expensive. For me, it's more expensive to make a pen with Crons than without. And TED accessories aren't worth Croning except for distos. So yeah, I didn't cron anything for like the longest period of time. I was way into enhancing before I cron stuff. So
Cronstones is basically for poor people who aren't good at math.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say that, and I definitely like cron stones are really important for me now. Like now, I use a lot of cron stones, especially for distortions. Although they're much harder to get since Odalita got announced, so I've been kind of hoarding mine that I got during the last sale. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The big issue now is that I just build too many 110 stacks, and I need something to do with them. And cronning tet distortions is the best thing. But yeah, I don't know.
What do you think the most common mistake of the average BDO player is for enhancing that they should stop doing?
Cronning like pen dandies and things that are not like 429 crons is really bad. It's really risky and expensive. They understand. I mean, I don't know. Like part of the, I mean, it's just not doing math, right? But the math is so hard that I can't really expect them to do it. But people just like use like the most random ass stacks for all sorts of shit, and they have no idea.
What if they
like,
want their names on the item?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you tell people like that? If you want the name on your item, like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's this weird issue where like it's way better to enhance things without crons if you have a setup to do it, but the setup to do it is way more expensive than the items. So I don't know. I have a hard time like.
Yeah, that's why I still tell people to cron pins, because I don't think that 99% of players have the ability to leverage those stacks anyways. So the amount of value that they save by going from 110 to 116 by failing instead of cronning, I just don't think it pays off for them.
Yeah. I mean, I hear that. It's a little bit,
especially if you lack a streamlined system to get the item back to tet rapidly. I mean, they could spend hours and hours in town just trying to get that back.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if that's a good like actual thing that's like actionable that people can do is they don't enhance enough items at the same time. Like for example, like the number of people who have like 2 plus 14 reblasts and then get upset every time they hit one. It's like, no, man, you need to have 40 of those things so you don't have to go to the church every 2 seconds. And then you wouldn't be sitting here like, I can't get a 20 stack. And it's like, dude, I make a 20 stack in 10 seconds. Like you don't have enough shit. So that's like actionable that people can do. I don't know. People like definitely know like what the soft caps are for accessories, because I'll get people all the time who like Tet ogres on or try ogres on like 80 stacks, and you're like, dude, you're not like, you could have used a 44 and had the same success rate. So that's a big issue. People don't know what stacks they're supposed to click stuff on. But honestly, I don't know. It's a mess.
You mentioned Odalita. What are your plans for Armor of the Dead God? For people who don't know, that's the new armor piece coming out with Odalita. You can turn a C10, Red Nose, or Dim Tree into it by doing a quest line.
Yeah. So I mean, Tet Dead God I'm debating on whether I want to try and make like a day one Tet Dead God, or whether I want to like do a sub goal or donation goal for it on the stream. I'll probably do pen Dead God attempts for donos. But I mean, I assume everyone here knows that like pen Dead God's basically a joke, right? Like 300.
How much is the swing on pen Dead God?
What's that?
How much is the swing on pen Dead God? How many crons is it?
It's like 4,000 crons.
Isn't the value of pen Dead God like 3 or 4 trillion or something?
Yeah, so it's like 1,100 clicks on average at 300 stacks. So yeah, like 4.5 trill.
You could do that. You could do that in like what, a year?
A couple years, maybe a year, 2 years. Yeah.
With inflation, you'll have
net worth's gone up like almost $1 trillion in like 6 months. So that's kind of cool.
If you one tap it though.
Yeah.
So is that thing in the back of your head saying that
somebody's gonna one tap it, man? Somebody in Show Nation is gonna one tap it.
Yeah, I gotta put I'm like, part of me is tempted to like get a buy order up on it, but just leave it up for like 300 bill or whatever.
Blonde Bears in my chat. He says I'll do it. He'll one tap it.
Yeah, Blonde.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck, man. That's watching you do Dead God's actually going to be really interesting. I'm actually excited for that.
Yeah, Dead God's crazy. I just need to get enough crons, man. The cron market's rough right now.
I don't give a fuck how many pin distos you make, but this Dead God thing's going to be fun.
Have you sorted out what stacks you want to cron? Are you cronning duo tri and tet or just tri and tet?
I need to do the math on whether I want to cron duo or not. Probably click duo raw. So like, here's the thing is like, I don't really care that much about being ultra efficient on the Dead God if I'm only going to do it once, like, oh, okay, I used a 170 stack instead of 160 150,
Yeah.
1 would have been better. Like, who cares, right? If I just do it once, if I start making them for profit, then I'll have to like do the math a lot. So right now I have let me check my character. I have a 164 for Tet, a 27 or for Try, a 278 for Tet, and a 278 for Pen. So that's what I'm going to use, and I'll probably just do the Pry at like 80 and the Duo at like 110.
What's your Tet stack? I'm sorry.
280, 278.
Wow.
Also, I guess we might be getting that adventure log that lets us put 3 more Rulipy on, or not 3 more Rulipy, 3 more Advice of Valks, or Valks Cry rather, on our stacks. So that'll be nice.
Our permanent one?
It's not like a permanent one. It's like you can use. So now, right now, you can use
instead of 10.
Yeah, you'll be able to use 13 apparently.
Wow, what a great change. Thanks for all of this.
These guys.
I mean, I'm not complaining. That's actually really big. Like, I don't know. Are you?
Well, I'm
minimizing
sure you're
that?
not complaining. That saves
really
you
nice.
how that saves you
It's gonna be great for their bottom line.
600.
That means a Pen Red Nose or a Pen Reblath when you devour it with a +5 Rulipy, you've got an 88 stack now. Like that's a solid stack.
Oh my! You just have to click that like what Black Star 3 times, and then you can start crowning your distortions again, or 4 times.
88. No, 88. You click. What do you do?
Yeah, 4 of them.
Oh, wait, no,
that'd be 100.
yeah, 88. So you do two Tets, push it up to 88 raw. Then you do two Pen Reblath attempts, push it up to 110, and Valk it up. Or I guess, yeah, and Valk it up from not 110. It would be like
That's so insane.
97 and Valk it up to 110.
Yeah, you just got to have like 20 or 30 Tet reblaths in your bank, and it's real easy.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm gonna make some Tet Black Stars. I've been sitting on this stupid Master Pure Magic node forever, and I have 350 of this Master Pure Magic now. I'm just sitting on it.
So I thought the same thing. I had 350 or so, and I was going to make a bunch of Tet Black Stars, and I've actually attempted Tet 3 times since we've been doing this podcast, so I'm up to 46 or 47 fails. I'm using stacks that BioHack would strangle me for.
I thought you were using pretty reasonable stacks for your Tet Black Stars.
Yeah, that stopped about 30 minutes ago.
My actual plan is to spend some time getting my gear on the season server and use that for making my fail stacks, because I don't have a fail stack system, and so I'm just going to play seasons and then get the gear on there, and then every 2 hours I get 50 fail stack. So, and then on top of that I can make money. So I'm just going to play some overpowered class like Guardian, and then or maybe Archer, and then just go out and go make every 2 hours make a 50 fail stack. So after 100 hours of grinding, that'll be 10 billion silver, and I'll have 50 fail stacks. 50 fail stacks.
I just love hearing a Sork call Guardian overpowered.
You don't know. You don't have any idea about Sorceress, bro.
What do you value of 40 Advice of Valks, Bio?
Is it 40?
I don't know. Do I want to say?
Because you can vendor the time-filled Blackstones for 100k each. So that's what, 40 mil if you vendor them, or is it 50 mil? How many stones is it to get a 40 stack?
500 stones.
So 50 mil or a 40 stack. Which one do you want?
I'm checking my spreadsheet right now. Probably the 40 stack. Actually, I don't know. Well, also keep in mind I have +4 Rulipy, so I'm going to be valuing it less. Yeah, I mean it's about. It's not a huge difference.
It's about what?
You're valuing it less? That's don't you get more value out of the Advice of Valks with your Rulipy?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was thinking 40 stacks and not. Well, no. Okay, so I would value
40 book.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, a 40 stack is easier for him to make because it takes 3 less clicks.
No, yeah, 44 stack. I'd definitely take the stack over the 50 mil.
Yeah.
Over 50 mil? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't the game value during the mapping thing value a 30 or 40? What was it? 50 stacks at 300?
Oh, they were so papega about how much they valued a 50 stack at. I was like, holy shit. If I could make that much money off of a 50 stack, I wouldn't be a trillionaire. I'd be a
what they valued 150 million or something like that.
It was so papega.
Black
kind of explains why they're so stingy when giving us stacks, I guess, because they apparently think they're worth like triple their actual value.
It was insane. And people were like, "Oh, the mapper just didn't get punished," or like, I mean, not to open that can of worms, but people were like, I saw Zethian like trying to argue that stacks were actually worth that much, and I was just like, "Oh my god, dude!" Like, they were like 3 times the value of what they're actually worth.
Yes, BioHack. That's called propaganda.
Well, another thing is like I plan on using that for Black Star. So I think a 40 stack on a Black Star is worth way more than a 40 stack, compared to like going for like a, if I was going for a pin boss gear piece, So I think for that it fills in that the try gap perfectly. It's the perfect Veil stack in my opinion for try, because you basically
I didn't even start trying boss gear till 40 stacks.
Yeah, well, that's why you get the 500 stack. You get the 40 stack from grinding on seasons, because I don't have the seasons. I'm not prepared for it. So for the 20 stack, you get dragon fossils, and for the 40 stack, you use that for try Black Star.
I'm looking at Pega right now.
And then you for Tet, you have the free 100 Veil stacks, and I have a whole bunch of free 100 Veil stacks.
You're doing dragon fossils for 20 stacks?
Just because it's a huge time save for me, since I don't have a system set up for it. Would I rather turn in 100 advice
Dude, you
about?
can make 20 stacks with just buy like fucking. What do you mean you don't have a? Yeah, what do you mean you don't have a setup? You can make those on plus 14 reblast.
Yeah, I mean I could, but I don't have any right now, so I'd have to do the full setup for it. If that,
yeah,
you see
it'll
what I'm
take
saying?
you like 10 minutes.
I am
Talk to Alfredo.
I don't
or
want
what's
to
his
do
name?
it. I'd rather just grind an hour and buy a whole bunch. I just
My
rather
boy
that.
Alfredo.
Like,
Yeah.
if anyone can get value out of fossils, it should be me with plus 4 Rulipy and actually knows what they're
Listen,
doing.
you did
And those
buy
things are
some, all right,
terrible.
a while
I
back.
did buy some when they were like 250k, but they're at like 400k now.
Yeah, they're very expensive now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. I know you're right. I don't want to enhance like that. I just want to go click and be done. But yeah, you're right.
Fair enough.
I've been baby raging for a couple years in this game, hoping that they will either A, make fail stacks sellable, or B, remove fail stacks from the game entirely and revamp the system. What do you think about either of those things?
We've talked about that a lot. I think your problem is not with fail stacks. You don't want to admit it. I think your problem is with gear downgrading.
True. If there was some way for your gear to not downgrade
doesn't
the
have,
price,
doesn't have fail stacks, and you love mobile until they put in gear downgrading, and now you're like, oh fuck mobile. Like, I think your bigger problem is with gear downgrading and not with fail stacking.
No, because when it comes to like monos, I'll click those up and down all day long.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, like on the one hand, I like fail stacking because they reward people who are smart when they play the game, and that's one of the things I like about this game is that like playing it smart is massively, massively beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I know people hate it, so
I think enhancing right now up to try, and in most cases, Tet works pretty well. I think the thing with pin is that you can the chance of there's such a long path to get up there that most players is prohibitive, because the path is so
most
long.
people shouldn't be enhancing up to Tet anyway. Like making your own Tet boss gear oftentimes is so Pega. Like even if you have a perfect fail stacking system and you know exactly what you're doing, it's like basically the same price as just buying it outright. Like there's really not a reason to enhance your own Tet. You don't really need to enhance, like people like, oh, for new players, but like honestly, like a new player playing efficiently is not going to enhance anything other than like seasonal gear. Like it's just not like all the low tier shit is not, it's all driven by people who just gamble, right? And so there's no margins there. There's no real reason to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I buy all mine now. The only thing I enhance is the Black Star, because Black Star I basically break even because I have the massive pure magic already.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the masses from the node, then the Black Star is like very efficient to enhance, right?
Yeah.
Because the masses, like people who are making that and selling it are valuing those things at like 40 mil a pop or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I started a new account. I played it for a couple weeks, and I came to that same conclusion where it's like I'm going to enhance my Tuvala and use all my stacks because I couldn't imagine enhancing on a new account. Couldn't imagine. Make 100 mil an hour and just go buy what you need one slot at a time.
Well, it's just why I think they need to really look at. I agree with Moreland. They need to look at the system because it should be that majority of people experience some time in enhancing, but the Tuvala and all that, it's not the correct answer for that. And then the best way for people to play the game is either pay to win or to grind out their gear and buy it from the marketplace. It's just a strange system, It seems like
So here's my system. You've probably heard this system before, Bio. Let me know what you think. So they either remove the current fail stack system completely, or they leave it in as a legacy system, sort of like enhanced and durable, so people who have the old stacks can use them, but they would become obsolete after a while. The new system is fail stacks are no longer character based. Instead, they're tied to the exact thing that you are going for. So Duo Crescent will be its own stack. Tri-Crescent will be its own stack, and it's applied account-wide. It doesn't matter which character you're on. You increase the base rates significantly, and then the only thing that increases that fail stack is that item. So to get your Duo Crescent stack higher, you have to fail Duo Crescents. To get your Tri-Crescent stack higher, you have to fail Tri-Crescents. The Reblath would be completely gone, like is enhancing fail stacking on any item other than the thing you actually want to go for would be completely gone. But you would gain increased chance, and the increased chance would eventually go all the way up to 100%. So you'd be guaranteed to get the item within a certain amount of attempts, but it would be like very high, like 4x average or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that overall.
Yeah, I think that'd probably be good. I mean, I like the part of me would mourn the loss of enhancing and like mourn the loss of that advantage you can get by like doing things the smart way. Because it does make it simpler and dumber, basically.
Yeah, it
like,
makes it way dumber.
Yeah. So I would mourn that loss, but I'd move on. And I mean, at this point in the game, like I've been enhancing for like a year and a half. I did trading for a year and a half before they killed that. I did underwater gathering for a year and a half before they killed that. Like I'd live if they made enhancing work like that and kind of killed my system at this point.
Honestly,
I'd feel so grandfathered in, but
yeah. I don't think they ever will, because I mean the fact that they added Nader's ban means that they're just doubling down on the current system. I really thought when Monos came out that they were going to start moving away from it, but then Tuvala they went right back to the old system, and then they doubled down again with Nader's ban.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do. I mean, also like the current systems are very like everything they've been adding to the game recently is like very, very cron mandatory. So like with the like shift in their monetization towards selling costumes, like I don't know, they're like that. There's that whole complicated aspect of it too. Not that they couldn't work the same thing into your system, but
I'll be right back.
Because like things downgrade, and because I don't know. Like the people need to cron like Dead God and Distortions and Black Stars and like all this kind of stuff. I guess Black Star only depend, but still.
Gotta sell those costumes.
Yeah, it does feel like a lot of the new gear is like designed to sell costumes.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like they're trying to push that monetization even harder. I hope they take a step back from that in the future. Maybe after Crimson Desert or Dukev or Plan 8 come out and they start making their own money a little bit. That way they don't have to focus, pulling all that money from mobile and Black Desert. Hopefully then they can like tone down the monetization a little bit, because I think that's probably where that's coming from. They have so many, different games they're developing right now with CCP developing EVE Online Mobile, and they have Crimson Desert and their other games. They have 4 or 5 titles in development right now, and they're all being funded between EVE Online and Black Desert. So
yeah, I don't see that happening. It's a nice thought though.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it depends on like what kind of player you are, because I feel like for like the casual player, the monetization's gotten better. They're giving out pets a lot easier. They're giving out maids. Sure. They're giving out all that stuff. It's really like they're just monetizing the whales a lot more, right? Like the people who are competition for me, they're not so worried about getting everyone to spend $10 on a pet. They're just trying to get oh dear to spend $150,000 on costumes. So it's a sort of mixed bag. I don't know. I don't know which one's better. Like, I mean, I guess for me, like it would be better if there was less of that, but for the average player, like the game is probably more accessible for lower spend players than ever.
I guess it makes sense. Yeah, better for a casual player, but worse for a competitive player, I guess, is maybe the side you would take.
Yeah.
I think that's true. That makes sense. Morlon, since you're back, does anyone else have anything else with Black Desert? We can jump on to our other topics.
I want to tap BioHack a little bit. We BioHack and I, all of us, we're all at 2018 TwitchCon, right? We all got a little saucy together.
We did.
Yeah.
We didn't talk too much about like the game because you were just like, I trade. I don't really stream too much. You know, it was
Honestly,
time back
honestly,
then.
I'll tell you this: BioHack, when he was there, he was like, my goal, because we went to the partner party, and BioHack's goal was, I want to get partner by next time I go to one of these.
Oh yeah, that's right. It wasn't partnered yet.
Yeah.
No, neither of us were.
Yep.
Oh
and
yeah,
so
that's right.
that
I
was
remember we went to a party and everyone was partnered except for me and Emma. And Emma's a girl, so they were like, "Yeah, we're letting her in." And they're like, "Nah, dude, you don't have partner." And I was like, "Fuck me, I got in anyway." But it was still like I got singled out, and I was like, "Oh shit, I got to get partnered."
Yep, and you, I remember you saying like, I wish I had done more streaming back when I was getting like 100 viewers for my trading whatever. And so you came back, and then I remember the first thing you started doing after TwitchCon, we just started streaming your Heave helmet enhancements. So it's the very first thing you started doing is you started doing that. And you're like, you just started grinding, and from there it's just you just hit a niche, in the community, and just skyrocketed it up, man. You did a great job.
Yeah. Well, I started. I was pretty like all over the place in terms of streaming schedule back then. It was like about a year ago is when I started streaming like every day. What's up?
You were still in school, right? Are you done with school?
Was I still in school? Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I was doing my PhD back then. I think
You make fig pie with 2 donuts.
So
Wait, did you get your PhD?
yeah, I got it like a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. BioHack. Apologies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dr. BioHack on the podcast.
I would literally change my Twitch name.
I don't know. I never go by. I never like use it.
I would be Dr. Allen 1 through 37. So what's if you could change anything about this game, what's like your biggest pet peeve or the one thing, or maybe one or two things that you'd like to see changed in this game?
I'd like someone who plays the game to design the UI. Like there's so much dumb shit in this game, which is clearly just because no one ever uses it. And so especially for someone who uses the market constantly, this isn't a big a deal for me anymore since I don't trade. But like when you could buy like 500 logs at a time, you're like, I need to buy 500,000 plywood a day at 500 per click. Like what the fuck? Let me just buy all the ones I want. So shit like that's really dumb. I mean, in terms of like content, I like more 1v1 stuff. Like this new 1v1 arena makes me really happy, but I'd love like ranked version of that. I'd love like a seasonal only, or not seasonal, but like a trial character only battle arena so that we could do that.
There's a
like,
season character RBF coming out, actually.
Yeah, that gives me promise. So yeah, I'd like that
Coming out.
The merchant ring, like having that be the reward for Mystery of Summer, is like these developers don't know anything about their game.
Isn't that egregious? Didn't you think that was fucking stupid?
It's so dumb. I don't know, like some HMST. I think I don't know the guy who won, but yeah, like I mean, like come on, you guys, like how dumb do you have to be? Now, like hopefully, like they keep messing around with the merchant ring and like doing all this stuff, but it's sort of like the Monopoly game from McDonald's where there's like 4 pieces that are easy to get and 1 piece that's impossible.
Yeah.
So unless you can get the impossible piece, like who cares? Like you're developing all this content for the other 4 pieces that don't matter, but they still haven't given us a new way to get to piece 5. So that's what we need. I don't know. That'd give me something to work on.
We've kind of decided that there's some cousin that works for PA that buys bar tabs that just really loves the idea of the rich merchant ring and just keeps pushing it.
Yeah, and like it would be fine, but it like you can't have an item like that exists that is it either A needs to be achievable by anyone who's willing to put in like maybe a couple months worth of effort to get it, or it shouldn't exist. Like
an infinite potion kind of
like an infinite potion. Like you can't have this item that's like allows you to essentially dominate the market that then no one else can get. Like what the fuck? I mean, like if I had got that merchant ring, we're talking about like 10 billion silver a week I would be making off that. Like it's a joke. It's insane. Like, and the guy who got it probably doesn't actually know how to do that. But if it went into
580 gear score, that's how much he has. So we're pretty safe on NA.
How nefarious do you think you could be if you got the rich merchant ring? Like how much damage if you wanted to be evil? How much do you think you could really fuck the market up in a palpable way?
I mean, no, not really, because like one person, you could fuck like small individual markets up, right? But one person like Like even if we say something like Tet Distos, like I can't just make 1 million Tet Distos. Like it takes me, an hour or two, before I could make one. So
Right. So I don't like the item, but I don't know if it could be used nefariously, or maliciously rather. So I agree with you. Like it should be, if it's going to be in the game, achievable by everybody. But I'm just trying to figure out. Moreland kind of had some undertones of like, man, this could really like fuck some stuff up if they know what's going on. And I was curious if you had that same thought.
I mean, it could make that player like easily like the richest player, or not, maybe not easily, but you could, like I said, like you could be making like 10 billion silver a week or extra. So
here's an example of it. So let's say you can make 100 million cooking Valencia meals, 100 million an hour. If I had the rich merchant ring and then you didn't, I could sell my meals for less than you can sell your meals, and you would be making, if you sold them at my price, you'd be making 95 mil an hour maybe, and I'd be making 100 mil an hour because I have the rich merchant ring. So I could just always undercut you to the point. I could always
like 1,000 times more egregious than that, because we're not talking about revenue.
I'm just using a casual example. We're not actually trying to teach people how to use this badly.
No.
Okay,
it's a bad example.
Listen to this.
It's a bad example because we were talking about the profit margin, and a 5% increase in revenue could be a 500% increase in profit. Like if you have a thin margin, then 5% more actual silver, it could multiply your margin by triple or quadruple or more, and it could completely make it so that other people you're competing against actually lose silver when making that item if the margin's thin enough. So it depends on the item. I don't know how many items are on that thin of a margin, but there's definitely some spooky shit you could do with that ring.
Which that's usually like really, really big items, or like cooking items where you cook so many that the margin can be thin on it.
I mean, it's for enhancing and cooking and alchemy is where it's going to have has the potential to be the most abusable.
Correct. Yeah.
And yeah.
So that's all I had. Anybody else have anything BDO related, or talk about some other stuff real quick?
They have some events. Were any of the events notable this week? I don't remember if we have when you get like some mysterious stone you have to go do or something.
Yeah, I got one of those, but I didn't.
I think it's pretty bad. I was looking at some of the stuff on it.
All right, let's move on then. Let's just move on to other stuff.
Sure. Our first topic is the new graphics cards from NVIDIA. They're looking pretty good. They, for people who don't know, they just announced their 3000 series. The 3080 is the same speed as the 2080 Ti, and it's about 20% faster at the same price. 20 to 30% faster at the same price. I think this is the first generation that is tempting as a proposition to upgrade because the price value is just so good with the RTX included and everything. I think it's pretty good. What do you guys think? Are you guys thinking about it at all? Have you been keeping track of the new NVIDIA cards?
Yeah, I wanted to buy one, but they got purchased by bots in the first 10th of a second that they went on sale. So
Amazon had a problem where they were actually registered for a 10-minute window before they were actually supposed to be. And so everybody went in there and bought them in that 10-minute window, and they sold out in 10 minutes. And that 10-minute window.
10 minutes would have been great. It was literally less than a second for the ones that we were trying to buy. Yeah.
So I stream on a single PC, and I have a hybrid cooled 2080 Ti, and I play on 1440p. So the difference between a 3080 from a 1080 or a 2080 Ti just really isn't there for the money. And I love my video card. It's like my favorite video card I've ever had. It's quiet. It doesn't get over 50 degrees Celsius. So I don't need the performance.
Isn't the 3080 cheaper than 2080 Ti and better? I don't think they're the same price.
I thought they were, but I'm not sure. I have to go look it up.
I think the 3080 is a pretty good deal.
I
was looking at it and expecting it to be a lot more expensive. That's why I wanted to grab one.
I think it's $799, I believe. I think
is it is that low?
Yeah. It's extremely good value for the price.
Even lower than that, isn't it?
Well, okay. So the TIs are the ones that are generally
$700, $699.
700 sounds right.
Yeah. It's good. AMD thought that they had a little bit of. We've been waiting for these cards for a while. The 2000 series was pretty good, and but the 3000 series is supposed to be the new hotness. So I think there's going to be a ton of efficiency in these cards, and I think it's great that you can get the performance of a 2080 Ti for $599. Through their base model. I think that's great. I think PC should be inclusive, not exclusive. So
Yeah.
NVIDIA has always been the Intel and NVIDIA have always been the king of PC gaming performance outside of a small window when AMD got the leg up during the transition from 32-bit to 64-bit. They were marginally better for about a year, and then Intel, pulled up their pants and just never looked back.
BDO has some weird performance shit where it like doesn't utilize all of your hardware properly, right? Is that a GPU thing or a CPU thing? Like they can't handle multiple cores.
It depends on what your graphic settings are. So slightly high and below, you tend to be limited by your GPU, by your CPU, and then from high and above, you tend to be limited by your GPU.
What I'm asking is like, is there any reason why specifically an Intel or an AMD card would be better for BDO, the way the BDO is optimized, or is it just you're just looking for like clock speed and?
Well, for CPUs, you want gigahertz. For BDO, higher gigahertz tend to perform better on BDO.
All games.
Well, that's true, but more cores don't help you because what BDO does is it splits the load among all the cores equally and doesn't actually utilize them. So it treats the game like it's a duo core game and it splits them equally across all the cores. So if you have more cores, you don't see as a performance increase over if you get more gigahertz than you do. But for most people, they're not limited by their CPU and BDO; they're limited by their GPU in most cases. I actually play at slightly high with two 1080 Ti's, and the reason I do that is because when you play an SLI at slightly high and below, you're limited by your GPU. By your CPU typically. And so I'm at right now at 144, and when I go into full screen mode, I'm at like 200 and something because I actually doubled my FPS with SLI mode. But if I go higher than slightly high, then if I go like high, very high remaster or anything, then my GPU is bottlenecking me the entire way.
This game hates SLI in a huge way. The next time you upgrade your cards, don't get two.
Well, you can't. The 3080s don't even support SLI anymore. The only ones that support SLI are the 3090s now, and I don't have $3,000 to spend on both of those.
Yeah, they should nix SLI. Nobody should SLI anymore. The last SLI setup, I had SLI since it came out in the 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s, and then they went away with it for a while, and then they came back with it, and I've had a setup, and this is the first time that it's been available that I haven't had an SLI setup, and I couldn't be happier on a single GPU. It's awesome. Well, I had two 1080 Ti's too.
One of the reasons why it's going away is because they're currently working with Windows 10, and they're going to be using SLI through the motherboard and through the Windows 10 operating system instead of it being a software-based thing that you have to compute things back and forth. So it's going to be going through the motherboard in the future, and you'll just plug in a second graphics card, and if it's the same model and everything, it'll just automatically treat them as one graphics card in the future, and the Windows 10 will just give information to each one equally for the workload. But that's something they're working on right now. It's not right; it doesn't work yet. It will be working in the future with a Windows 10 update.
I used to do a lot of PC benchmarking, and you had to use SLI for that. But back in the day, I had 4 580 GTXs with a 1600 power supply, and the efficiency of each one that you put in there, the diminishing returns was outrageous. Like the fourth video card was only like a 10% boost or something, Yeah. And I saw a lot of the difference between a single 1080 Ti versus having a second. You only got like 30 or 40% of the second 1080 Ti. So it's been kind of.
So for BDO, anyway.
I have another question. My roommate's been trying to convince me that the third-party 3080s are going to be like significantly worse than the ones that NVIDIA manufactures directly. Is there any truth to that?
No, your roommate's a fucking idiot. It's
Probably
just
not.
the opposite. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
So the thing that's very unique. One of the things that's very unique about the 3080 is the airflow design on it, but it doesn't work for every single computer case setup. And so the off-brand GPUs will be better for particular case setups where the airflow needs to be going out the back or something else.
People who are buying the cards from NVIDIA are morons. At no point has the first-party NVIDIA cards, the Founder Edition, ever outperformed or outrelied any of the third-party manufacturers. Just look for EVGA is pretty much been the god of manufacturing these cards for.
So I probably won't have a problem buying the third-party ones, right? It's just the first-party ones that are being camped by bots.
Well, they release them first, right? And then the other guys get to manufacture them, and then they do a better job.
Do you think there will still be a supply problem when the other guys come out with theirs, or are those going to get botted as well?
At the start,
once Christmas is over, you'll be fine, and you should be able to get them before the holiday season. Like,
yeah,
it won't take long. It's like buying a console, but not, maybe half as bad.
The Factory Edition is actually good. I don't know. I think I don't think it's bad this time round. I don't think there's a big difference. Just so we're clear, I don't think there's a big difference. Like,
there's no reason to buy it. It's not overclocked. There's no increased cooling or efficiency or anything. There's no reason. There's no competition. So why would they make a good card?
For your sake, Moreland, it doesn't matter. If you can get one by any reputable brand, it doesn't matter.
That's what I figured.
Yeah,
buy a third party. It does matter. Don't do that. 100%.
One thing that they'll do with the manufacturers is there'll be YouTube videos where they'll have some that will be higher performance but they're louder, and you'll have some that are more silent but they'll be slightly less performance because they don't overclock them as much. And so you can look up some good reviews like that. I got a very, very silent one intentionally because I didn't want anybody to hear the fan when I was streaming. So I intentionally went for one that was a little less powerful but was a lot more quiet.
You know about noise suppression filters, right?
Oh, I think my microphone sounds great, but that's why I did.
What else do we got? We had Soda Poppin got a 2-day ban on BDO. You guys see that?
What did he do?
What did he do?
He had the word instead of Padawan, he had Pedawan.
Oh, for his family name.
Yeah, it's some joke or something. He got fucking mass reported.
Oh, that's just one of the Siege Guilds memeing on him, I'm sure.
Seems like maybe there should be somebody at the publishing company that manages streamers and people who stream the game, especially at a high level of popularity, to maybe mitigate some of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe especially when they bring 20,000 viewers into the directory for BDO. I don't know. Maybe this change his name.
If it was my job to be in charge of or manage the people who streamed my video game, I would feel like I failed.
Well, and the thing that's strange about it is the fact that he set that name up when BDO first came out years and years and years ago, and he's had that name for years in BDO, and he came back and he was actually saying on the stream like, "Hey, why do I have this name? This name's fucked up. How do I change it?" And then he just gets banned as a result of that instead of actually handling that,
Brain dead. Yeah. Literally brain dead.
Good job. We almost had a 20,000 viewer streamer.
Almost. Next time.
We'll get him next time, Those opportunities come around every so often, right? Of course they do.
I'm sure XQC is headed to BDO any day now.
And then a big thing on Twitch, just since we're kind of in the other game section. Number one, before we get into that, I'm super excited for New World's comeback. My community's literally counting the weeks down.
Dude, I keep having dreams about it, and it's so good in my dreams. And I know it's not going to be that good in real life.
Did you see the video, Moreland, in my Discord?
No.
So Skara was on our
that video. Yeah, I saw that shit.
So for everybody else, Skara was on our server, and I found out that he was upset about First Light. We own First Light, which was the newbie town. He was upset about the taxes. So I started recruiting that day that he was playing. If you hate Skara and love taxes, join Aftershock. And it made it in he did like a 16-minute video.
Dude, big time.
I literally peaked. He made like a 16-minute video about New World, and he made a clip. He goes, it's just like, join Aftershock, fuck Skara. And he's like, wait, this guy, he did it just to spite me? Well, no, I didn't. I did it because it's fucking funny, but I put it in World Chat and he put it in his video, so I fucking peaked.
That's awesome.
Funny. I saw that. Yeah.
So I was
doing it again in November, by the way. We're going to take the starter town and put it on max taxes all over again, baby. Let's go.
I was thinking that I was going to tone it down for next time, but I think I might double down. I've get so many people want to join us for New World next time. We're going to have we're probably going to have a waiting list, actually.
You're going to do two guilds.
We'll see. We'll get a head count as we get
Shock
closer.
and during shock.
Aftershock and martyrdom, or apotheosis. Anyway,
So
Twitch will
on Twitch,
now, we'll auto run ads.
Oh my god.
Streamer Twitter's freaking
All right.
out.
so I actually think the idea of
Don't
ads.
you dare, Potion.
I actually
This
think
guy
that.
just got $600 from ads, and now he's gonna simp super fucking hard.
So
Bro, you're
it was
not
actually
gonna
like
get that
$800. All right, it was actually like $800.
$800 on ads.
Yeah. All right, but
How did you do that?
I want a caveat with it. I think the ads should be streamer. I think the incentive is not there for streamers to run ads because they don't tell you how much you're going to on average make when you press that button. They don't tell you what percentage cut you get. I think the idea of ads playing on streams is fine, and I understand that Twitch wants to make more money with ads. I get it, but the incentive is not there. It's just not there because I never knew I was going to make $800. I just clicked the button a whole bunch of times while we had all those viewers, and then it just turned out to be $800. I don't know how that sliced up. I don't know what day made what money. And
It tells
I think it doesn't tell you the exact amount. It tells you the generic what the estimate you're going to get over the whole period. For like the last 30 days or something.
You can go back and find out what day, how much money you made in ads on that day. You literally.
But then it's just not enough clarity on it because it doesn't tell you exactly how many impressions you got, what your CPM is.
Sure.
And so it's just too vague. Like that's the main thing. If I had the ad button there and it said 3 minutes of ads and you will be expected to get roughly this amount of money, that'd be okay.
You know why they don't tell you, Potion?
Well, because they're obviously getting 80% of the pie or something, and they're only giving me 20% or something.
They're going to give you like 30 cents if you run an ad with 500 viewers. That's why they don't tell you.
Yeah, well, I mean,
YouTube tells you get 55% of the ad revenue. They just tell you up, right?
Yeah,
when you're
tell you what the cut is at least. If they don't tell you what the actual cents are, that's fine.
But I mean, the issue with this is that the ads are being played against the will of the streamer at random times.
I agree.
And the thing about ads during live streams is, unless you've never watched a live stream before, you'd have to actually have head trauma to think that that's an acceptable thing to add to a live streaming platform.
Yep.
Can you imagine some streamer goes for like a Penn Blackstar and they fucking play an ad right after they click the button?
There's already clips of that happening. Like during super intense moments, people just get ad fucked, and like, why wouldn't you let the streamer have control over that?
Yeah, I think the whole thing is they just need to make the incentive better. Like, here's an example. Here's an example of how they could do it better. Right now, chat gets ads, streamers get a very little amount of profit, and Twitch goes to laughing their way to the piggy bank. So it just doesn't make any sense. Like, obviously no one's going to run ads. So if you turn this on its head, like, all right, let's say I made $800 in ads last month because we had Mystery Summer and a lot of other things going on. I played a lot of ads during that. All right. So why if they paid me $800 in subs though? So Twitch just says, all right, instead of just give me the raw money, they say, all right, when you run an ad and it equals enough money to give you $2.50, which is a sub, then this gift my chat a sub. So then chat gets a sub, I get paid, and Twitch gets paid. And then
that's a terrible idea.
Oh, sure. You could see the progress of how close you are to getting a sub for your community.
I really have to explain this to you. So let's say somebody is planning to sub or is a couple days away waiting for their paycheck. They're going to sub. This is kind of a problem with gifted subs too. If you want to sub, but you get gifted a sub, now somebody spent money giving somebody who was already going to spend money. That doesn't make sense, buddy. Somebody's getting gifted a sub you're losing.
Sometimes people get gifted a sub and they continue it, and they might not have subbed in the first place, but since they get gifted a sub, they're like, hey, I kind of like a couple of these emotes, and they end up sticking around. I've had that happen. Like when Nabron does his big sub bombs, I'll see some residual from that a couple months later, such and such is continuing the sub they got from. So I think it goes both ways. But again, I think the much bigger issue here is the fact that they're doing these in-platform ads during a time when the streamer has no control over it. Just taking that away from the streamer, it's so unfriendly towards the people who are watching, towards the streamers themselves. It's just, I don't know, dude. It's just like some evil corporate shit, like at the highest level.
I'm not
completely
saying
agree.
this is a great solution, but it would probably be better if like maybe they made the ads an opt out. So it's like, we're going to play an ad in 30 seconds and there was a pop up and you could click to cancel it so that you could stop. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's too short a time frame. Like obviously that would be worse than the current system, but if they want to like force ads, I feel like people would let them play if it was an opt in or opt out as opposed to opt in system. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like YouTube has the option to skip ads.
The only reason they can get away with this shit is because there's not proper competition. I can't wait for the day when someone makes a real live streaming platform and just fucking blows
YouTube is like this big giant, just and when they ever get their shit in line in like 3-4 years from now, it's gonna be the death of Twitch, or Twitch is gonna have to do some major changes because there's 2 billion people endemic to the platform. Just by nature of 2 billion people, they will be a bigger live stream platform as soon as they get their stuff in line. Like, you know, you look at Dr. Disrespect. Like, look how huge he is on YouTube without even doing anything. Yeah, he's doing like 400,000 people or something like that, 300,000 people. Like, he's killing it. He's actually killing it.
Back to back.
And so I think whenever YouTube finally gets their ducks in a row, I think that's when we're going to see some major changes on Twitch's side. And maybe part of this is like Twitch is trying to get enough money so that they can like update to maybe 1440p or, you know, higher FPS, or maybe trying to update.
I don't think that's it, dude. They're not trying to make more money so they can reinvest into the platform. When have they ever reinvested into this platform? It's been the same shitty problem since 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think with the current statement though, I agree. I'm on the side of like, we need more transparency. What's our CPMs? Does Twitch need more money to be profitable, or do they want more money? You know, are we going to see 3 minutes ads per? I think right now it's every 16 minutes an ad plays is what the current thing is on Twitch. Every 16 minutes you get an ad. So that means every hour you're roughly getting 4 ads an hour. Roughly, it's a little less than that, but it's basically every 16 minutes you get an ad, and that ad is either going to be 30 seconds to a minute.
So if I get one more survey from Twitch asking me if they think that they do a good job moderating community or make streamers feel safe, I'm going to pour milk into my fucking computer. I mean, they really don't reinvest anything into this platform. And to their credit, it grew so fast and so quickly that they probably didn't have the appropriate time or planning to respond to it. But the other thing with ads is apparently there's condom ads being played right now. And
by
people
Trojan.
Freaking out. Somebody by chat just said it earlier, but like I saw people on Twitter, they're like, there's no mature content. I stream like really wholesome family streams and they're having condom ads.
Well, yeah, there was this. I mean, YouTube has this problem too, so it's not a problem just on Twitch, but on YouTube, they had a problem with people being like, they would advertise and it'd be like basically gland on gland action, like advertising for like a porn website, like is this going?
Apparently, some people think that it's inappropriate to teach safe sex to anyone, but like I get it, you know.
Well, it seems like it would be easy for Trojan to only run ads on streams that have the mature content button checked.
Yeah, that's kind of the point people are trying to make, but I kind of go, yeah, is advertising condoms that bad? I mean, procreation's kind of a normal thing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you mostly stream to like 11-year-olds,
the problem is not that Trojan ads are on Twitch. That's not the problem. The problem is that there's no choice if you want to have those as advertisements on your stream or not. Different people have different social dynamics.
I'm with you.
There needs to be like, if I only want to have good family fun on my stream, I should be able to choose what kind of ads play on my stream potentially.
Yeah, I don't.
You would think the advertisers would want that too. Like, it's crazy how bad they are at actually advertising to the right people. It's true on YouTube as well. Like, you know the demographics. Why don't you just give advertisements that are targeted towards the demographics you already know instead of shotgunning it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Facebook is where.
Are you trying to talk? Or are you talking to your stream?
Well, I was talking to my stream, but I was gonna say, like, is Twitch still doing that thing where they play like the same ad over and over and over and over again? Because that was another issue where it's like, dude, I've seen this and only this ad like 40,000 times. Like, can we break it up a little bit?
Every time Amazon comes out with a new show, man.
I'm so happy Coke gifted me subs. Thanks, Coke Gaming.
Bro, I've seen that so many times. And they get the Coke energy drink too. Coke's been doing a lot of advertising on Twitch. I mean, I guess it worked. I've been drinking Coke like half the stream so far, so.
So is Miller Lite.
Yeah, anyway, I think they just need to think about why people are so mad about it. You know, that's what Twitch needs to do. They need to look at the subject and see why are people upset about this, and how can we implement ads where people are actually happy to run ads to make more money, because streamers want to make money. There's no problem with that. It's not a money problem. I'm okay with making more money. The problem is how they're implementing it is how they're,
tons of ways they can implement ads that I would easily take money for. If there was like a thumbnail ad that I could run, or if there were muted ads, like banner ads that I could run, there's all kinds of shit that I would run. I just don't want to stop my fucking stream and shove something down everyone's throat, and interrupt the flow of what I'm doing. Like companies can pay me to put up, I've got the no ping banner down in the corner. I don't know why they don't just have like an opt-in bounty version of that, where you can set different banners from different companies, or limited time offers. There's so many smart ways they could do it. There's just fucking billions of dollars waiting to be taken, and they just can't do their jobs correctly. It's staggering.
Speaking of can't do your job correctly, they also came out. They decided that the next 30 days, starting September 15th, was going to be Latinx celebration month.
What?
And they're trying to celebrate Latin culture, and like the entire thing, top to bottom, was just full racially insensitive. They even came out with emote modifiers for maracas, a sombrero, and a Spanish guitar, and they immediately had to apologize. They're like, apparently, if you're just fucking racist, all you have to do is we missed the mark, because it's like the second or third time in a row that they've tried to do something for.
How about this? I got a crazy idea here. I got a crazy idea here. I got a crazy idea. How about we just treat everybody the same as people, and then we don't have this problem anymore. We don't have to treat anybody special because of their nationality or their skin color or their, the way they talk or their accent. We just treat everybody the same. All right, they're all humans. We're all playing the same. We're just trying to go from beginning to end and enjoy the process. I don't get why it's so hard.
I think we should do a bald people appreciation month where they just it whites out the hair on any face emotes.
I'll shave my head in bald appreciation month.
I kind of would like a sombrero add-on for emotes though. That does sound pretty dope.
Yeah, but that's not Latin. Like, it was all Mexican. It was all Mexican cultured things, and so like all the other I don't know what Latinx is, but that's a term that's apparently being
There's
used
a lot
now.
more Latin than just Mexico.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with my culture. What the fuck are you doing? And it was just another, massive show of their incompetence. There was nobody forced them to do it. It's not like some scheduled thing. They just wanted to do it, and then they just, quote, missed the mark. So
just add a Mexican sombrero option to my emotes. That's all I really need out of this. All right, I don't need a whole appreciation month.
That'd be a good channel points reward.
Yeah, it would, honestly.
That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna do something else apparently, but I want to remind all the listeners that Potion Shop's opinions are his own and do not reflect the rest of ours.
I mean, I think everybody should have their own opinion on everything, and they should do their best.
For anything that anyone on this podcast says ever.
Make up your own mind about everything.
I've had a big week with that.
So Among Us, it's been popping on Twitch. Do we want to talk about it? Listen, all right, it's the best I can do saying it. Leave me alone.
You say it perfectly, dude. You say it better than anyone I've ever heard.
All right, would you repeat the name of the game for me?
Among Us.
Among Us.
Am I forgetting the N or something? Is that what it's going on?
Just call it Ortolito.
Ortalita!
Why do you put an R in it? I can't understand why you're putting an R in that word. I enjoy playing Among Us as often as possible, specifically with Moreland's community, and I look forward to it every time. And I'm upset when I'm not at my computer and he and his community are playing it, because it's literally the most fun game to play right now.
You want to play some later today? Or are you going to be busy sieging?
No, I was hoping we'd do it after podcast, honestly.
Yeah, I'm down.
BioHack, you want to play some Among Us, or you got to go make
Yeah,
sure?
Bio, why haven't you played with us yet?
Come on, dude. It's $5. You got $5.
I gotta get my Rulipy questing done.
Bro, you can rule up you while playing Among Us. It's not that
Yeah,
hard.
play like an hour or something with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I should. I have been saying like I gotta download this, but man, you don't get 2 trillion net worth playing other games. You gotta put in the hours.
You know what? Fuck you.
It takes a long time.
True that.
I bet it does. So let me just, since we have BioHack here, what other MMOs? I asked Kerr this last week. What was the last MMO you played before BDO? And what other games are you currently playing outside of BDO, if any?
So
Tell him. Don't answer the question.
don't answer the question. Well, okay. So first off, other MMOs. I mean, I played a little bit of WoW Classic when it came out, and a little bit of. I played like maybe a week or two worth of WoW every time we've had an expansion. While playing BDO, but I guess the biggest MMO, I was pretty successful in Ion when that released for like the first year. I was like one of the top players in that game for a while.
Ew.
And then I played Night Online a lot when I was younger. RuneScape, played some RuneScape recently, and RS3, but both old school and RS3. Now the big game I play is Raid Shadow Legends. I have like 4 Raid accounts.
Whiskey all over the place. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, dude. I'm like literally have that game. So I have like 6 monitors in my house.
Right now.
I have 2 monitors playing Raid Shadow Legends, and then my main monitor playing BDO right now.
So they sponsored you, yeah?
Yeah. I'm doing another sponsorship with them soon, which unfortunately they seem to do these like campaigns where they sponsor all the BDO streamers at the same time.
Yeah, I got one coming in a couple weeks.
Because like we have such overlap. It can like I remember my last sponsorship was like the day after Choice did his, and I was like, fuck, I share like a 60% overlap audience with Choice. Like,
yeah, I was supposed to do one.
Like, my downloads like were terrible. I couldn't get enough.
I was supposed to do one last week, but I wanted to push it back. So everybody's
I think Orland's like right before me too. I'm like, oh damn it!
I'm the only one here who doesn't do Raid Shadow Legends. The only one.
I'm gonna let you guys do it. So did you play it before you got sponsored for it?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god, they got you.
They got me. I mean, to be fair, I haven't like spent any money on it or anything. But the game is fun. Like I don't know, I like it.
Have you played Guardian Tales?
No. The only other like mobile gacha game I played was Idle Heroes.
Dude, the problem is all these gacha games are like this weeb, weird pedo. Like the art styles are just so fucking gross and strange, man. It like Raid is the only one that looks good, even though I don't necessarily like a lot of the design. I want a mobile gacha game that just doesn't look like it's made for 6-year-old weebs. Like that would be so cool if someone out there can do that. I will give you money.
Speaking of mobile games, one of my favorite games of all time is Slay the Spire, which is a roguelike card game released on mobile. It's on mobile, iOS finally. I don't know if it's on Android, but it's on iOS. And I am so fucking happy about that. I'm so fucking happy about that. So, little PSA, if you guys haven't checked out Slay the Spire, fucking check it out. It's great. Especially if you're stuck somewhere. So I think I'm surprised you haven't played like more market-based games. Aeon doesn't really.
I mean, I played EVE Online a lot. Did a ton of trading in that. Yeah, so I guess that would be the big one. I guess I played EVE for like 2 years. I don't know. I played a ton of shit. RuneScape is a very market-focused game as well.
Oh, I suppose it is, isn't it?
Bio keeps trying to convince me to play RuneScape.
Dude, Moreland is obsessed with fucking Ultima Online, and RuneScape is literally like the developers like, we wanted to copy Ultima Online because we were poor and we were kids. So they made like the spiritual successor to Ultima Online, which is this massively successful game, which is super popular on Twitch. And Moreland hasn't tried it, and I'm like, I mean, you don't have to love it, but like, it's like, oh my god, like, you love Ultima, and here's this game that like tried to copy it. That's like one of the most successful MMOs ever, and he's never played it seriously. I think you got to give it a shot at some point.
I think like if you updated RuneScape and you made the life skills worse, it would be BDO, and you updated combat to be good. That'd be BDO basically.
I mean, BDO and RuneScape definitely have a lot of parallels for sure. But like gear, I mean, RuneScape has full loop PvP, so the gearing progression is like totally different in that game than in BDO.
Well, only if you're in the wilderness.
Yeah, but I just mean like gear in general in RuneScape is like a temporary consumable thing, much more than it is in RuneScape or in BDO. Like you wear lots of different types of gear, and your gear isn't like
completely unpredictable emergent shit happen in RuneScape.
I mean, it depends on what you do. It's like very sandboxy, right? So
okay, so like last night, my friends on the UO free server that we play found a guy, invaded his house, took all of his stuff, went outside into his front yard, and had a picnic in front of his house using the stuff that they had just stolen from him. And the guy came back and joined them at the picnic, and they ended up becoming friends. And then they gave him a bunch of shit for free.
I mean, that definitely happens a lot in RuneScape. Like it's usually like, new players or whatever. You'll like bait people out into the wilderness, kill them, take their gear. And then, they'll become friends, and then you'll give them gear, and you'll like take them bossing with you, and you'll go do shit together. Like that definitely happens.
Wilderness concept. See, that's one of the things that's great about UO is the whole game is wilderness. That's one of the things that makes it so gives it that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you a story of what I did in RuneScape back in the day. I'll tell you a story about what I did in RuneScape. So I had a feather laundering scheme, I guess is what you would call it. I basically was going to the starter town, and I was paying people for their feathers. And then what I'd do is I'd run to another town where it was the market town, and I would basically sell all my feathers to another guy, and then he was taking those feathers and then turning them into like arrows or some shit. And so I was just going back and forth, and that was how I made my initial incomes. I had like 3-4 guys killing chickens and getting their feathers, and I was selling them to the other guy in the trading town. And so it was just a fun way of doing that. And I had another guy who was, killing cows and getting their hide. And so then I was taking that hide and selling it to someone else. So I had like 4 or 5 people working for me at all times while I was.
You were a wholesaler.
Yeah, I was just the middleman for everything.
That sounds pretty dope. Yeah. I guess I'm kind of just operating under the assumption that RuneScape has been out so long that the game has got to be like pretty close to solved by now. But people keep convincing me that like new player RuneScape streams are popular for some reason, and I don't understand why they would be. But
I streamed RuneScape a bit. I wouldn't say it was definitely popular. Like, I don't know, you'll drop viewers. Also, like in my limited experience with the RuneScape streaming community was not great.
They're pretty toxic.
They were kind of obnoxious.
How's your interaction with BDO streamers?
I have great interactions with BDO community. Honestly, I think BDO has a really good Twitch community. It depends on where you are, and I'm sure, like, I don't know.
Can you teach me?
There's a very big difference between like the Twitch community and then like the game community as a whole. And I feel like
you got a life skill, dude. Like life skillers are so much more chill. Like half the people who do Siege are like total pieces of shit. Like if you life skill, like no one's out there like just being an asshole just to be an asshole.
Yeah. Well, I'll say for BDO, the streaming community in BDO is probably the best of almost any directory. There's the only other ones that I think that can compare are like maybe PoE, maybe World of Warcraft. Those are the only other games I can think of off the top of my head that have like really good communities among different streamers. Most of the time they're, like, I'm not going to host you because you don't host me, and we're not going to work together or anything. Destiny's actually really good too. Destiny 2.
Oh, all my interactions with other BDO streamers was good. It was more like the BDO the BDO streamers, the viewers. But I never had a problem with streamers. Like streamers are, I don't know. I'm not very like. I feel like it's one of those weird things like, oh, I don't like drama. Like it's always the most dramatic people who say that. But like I don't ever have drama in my life. My life is very drama free, so I don't really have problems with.
Unfortunately, you've met Tim Allen now.
I know Tim will try and get us there, but no, me and Tim hung out. We've hung out before. We didn't have any drama.
I don't have a problem with I almost called you BioShock.
Man, people do that all the time.
Do they?
Well,
Fuck.
I'm out.
No.
We're out of topics.
Yeah, so that was this episode 17?
I think we've made it there.
Are we gonna get to 20?
I'm not holding my breath.
They can't cancel us, right? We'd have to quit.
I don't know. They probably can cancel us. Never know in today's age.
That was episode 17. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to this every week. BioHack, it was an absolute pleasure having you. Thanks for making the time and joining us.
Hell yeah, for sure.
What do you got going on your stream? Any planned content or anything you want to push? Maybe you want to tell us when your sponsored stream's coming up or whatever.
Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say yet, but yeah, in the next week or two. Yeah, mostly just questing. I don't know. I'm in this weird spot where enhancing's kind of lame right now, and I really want to get Rupee questing done before Odalita comes out. So my streams are kind of boring at the moment. But you know, you can come chat.
What is it? Insane self-promotion. Moreland, what do you got going on, dude? Is your stream boring still?
Pretty dog shit. Not really gonna recommend anyone watch it ever. No, I had a lot of fun playing Hades. I'm definitely gonna be playing that a lot and trying to get good at it. I feel like it's a roguelike, so I feel like it's gonna be pretty easy to like beat it and master it eventually. Like I don't think it's gonna last for weeks or anything. But in the meantime, that'll be really fun. And then just lots of Among Us, hopefully, dude. I'm fucking having a blast streaming Among Us.
Are you? I thought you were like off it the other night. We had like a bad night of Among Us or something when your power went out, and I was like, oh shit, I hope he's gonna play again.
Aren't they all bad nights?
All right. Potion Shop, tell us how terrible your stream is.
I'm thinking about quitting Hashin. So I don't know. I'm just not enjoying it at high-end grinding. And I was hoping it was going to fill that gap. It's going to be my new high-end grinder. It's going to spend some time on it, but I'm just not enjoying it. Probably going to take some time to level up a season character, get the weapon exchange coupons next week. Trying to fix my sleep schedule, so hopefully be back on Monday with the new music album. Be my first one ever releasing. I think the experience of getting it out there is going to be the coolest thing. I don't know. Saying you have a music album sounds cool. I don't know.
That's so cool, man. I'm really honestly proud of you for that. I really am.
It's taken a lot of work. It's been about a 6-month journey to get everything created. So we'll see how it goes. Worst case scenario is my kids would be like, hey, you made a music album like what 20 years ago? Yeah, I didn't know that dropped. Drops on Monday. I'm not sure exactly what time zone they're releasing it, but it starts exactly on Monday.
No, you're not supposed to release new music on Monday. Come on, man. You know nothing about the music industry.
Doesn't matter.
God, what a failure.
I'm using my stream to push the album anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I'm teasing, dude. I'm teasing. So for me, I'm going to casually grind. I've had my stream all week has been nothing but drama, and I expect that to continue for the coming week or so. So that's all that.
Was it fun?
Was it fun? It was cathartic. I've been holding on to a bunch of shit and just people that treated me like shit, and I got to just put it out there and not fucking care about it. So it was freeing. It was definitely freeing, and it's fun to see kids squirm, you know, when they're outed for being pieces of shit. So, you know, whatever. But that's probably just going to be what my stream's about for the next week or so. But I'm ecstatic to play Among Us and get away from BDO for a little bit. So how about we close out the episode so we can go play some Among Us, and I'll pressure BioShock to join us.
BioShock!
BioShock now. So that was episode 7.
Dr. BioShock.
So we'll be back next week. I don't think we're going to have a special guest. We'll get back to the three of us. But I think I'm going to reach out to a couple other people to maybe the next couple of weeks. We'll have another extra guest. It adds a wonderful layer of dynamic conversation. So thank you again, BioHack, for coming through.